Okay, why is not moral?
Let's get the
Wow, it's so hard to
guys.
speak like this.
Really?
Thank you.
I will answer you. Why do you think it's not moral?
Unarmed people.
What you see on Paris BTR?
Civilians. In the middle of winter.
Hold on, why you saying civilians?
And
Why you saying civilians?
all
Why
the
you saying
reporters say that
civilians?
they are civilians. Do you really think
What?
that
Who
this is how... hold on a second. Do you really believe, or you really wanted to convince me that Hamas members are all together in one place?
No, I will tell
Really?
you. Those are people that
are very old.
I will answer you. Those are people that were arrested in Gaza Strip when they were in a war zone where people should have been evacuated.
And why are they strict like that?
Let me finish.
Why are they strict like that?
Let me finish. Motherfucker, let me finish. Jesus, Egyptian. You don't need to cut me while I'm speaking because I was just about to say exactly what you wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
For fuck's sake, the reason that they don't have their shirts on is because... Oh.
Egyptian.
Okay, sorry. Let me just finish this.
Hang on, Daniel.
No, let me just finish this. Please go on. Let me just finish
Daniel,
this.
take a breather.
Yes, I got a breather. Let me just finish this. The reason that they don't have shirts on, Egyptian, is because some of those people tend to blow up when they come close to the IDF soldiers. So what is the procedure is that they are being told to remove their clothing so the IDF soldiers will be able to see that they are not wearing explosives. I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings and you feel humiliated, but this is the reason that we're doing it is because those people tend to blow up. And those people, calling them civilians, either you're claiming that everybody in Gaza is a civilian, which is fine, you can say that, or you need to accept the fact that Hamas is not using military uniform and they are embedding themselves in the civilian population, which are things that you actually know, Egyptian. So it boggles my mind that you sit here and you call them civilians and you are kind of playing into this propaganda that either you're saying that all the Gazans are the same, either Hamas or terrorists or civilians. And that is not true. That's
fine. Well, first of all, Daniel, it seems that we both of us today had big shouting. I didn't mean that, okay, Daniel? But
I'm shouting because people are like talking while I'm talking. It's really hard for me to.
It is out of emotions for people, not against you, okay? According to what you say, I see that it is good reason, but at the same time, they shouldn't keep like that for hours. They shouldn't keep like that over trucks and being drove for miles like that without being close, without getting warm. And this picture was in the middle of December or January, which is very cold at that time at this place. So if you wanted to take the precaution and be sure that you're not hiding bombs inside their clothes, fine. Now you got sure about them, let them put their clothes back.
And they are getting they're getting different. They're getting like onesies that are somewhere else. And again, I understand that you want to have like better treatments for those Nukhba terrorists. Great. But again, if this is, I tell you what, the only thing that shouldn't have happened, that this photo shouldn't have been taken. This I agree with you. The person that took this photo that was the mistake. Everything else is completely legitimate. And again, you are talking about feelings being hurt. You pay attention that all your claims that you bring on the stage, again, yes. So you're talking again about those people are alive, they are well, they're getting medical treatment, they're getting everything that they need. They got hurt in their feelings. I understand this, okay? Maybe you felt humiliated, I understand, but there are reasons why they have to take their clothes off. And it's not because we are turned on by them, look at them, it's because we just want to make sure that they don't grow up. So I understand that your feelings might be hurt, not you, theirs, I don't know who, but if all you have to give against the idea is that your feelings got hurt, then I have to say that there's an ex-IDF. I don't know why. I'm really proud that after 10 months, this is your place.
I don't know why you keep insisting on saying hurting your emotions.
Because this is the game. You gave me two examples that
about the immoral actions.
I understand, but when we talk
about the feelings,
war,
okay?
When we talk about war, I can show you things that are actual war crimes. For example, a girl running away from Hamas, begging for her life, he takes his gun and points it to her head and shoots her in the face. or for example, throwing a grenade into a room full of civilians hiding, or for example, going on a beach and start shooting everywhere, or for example, going into a, I mean, there are so many crimes that people actually die from, raping people, burning people alive, taking hostages, killing parents in front of their kids. Dude, this is what I'm talking about.
Where did you get from about raping and burning people alive? Where did you get it from?
Wow, from reality.
Here we go.
I wish it didn't happen, but it did.
Here we go.
I wish it didn't happen, Egyptian, but it did.
Okay, can we pass?
Because I didn't find any proof of what you say.
Egyptian. Hang on for a second. Linda.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Good to see you. Which one?
Hi. How you doing?
I'm waking up. This is beautiful.
Yeah, this is how Ron wakes up from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I haven't seen you in so long.
Thank you. Hi, Yaakov. Yeah.
Sorry, Rohan, for doing this wake-up call for you. I think you need it. It's instead of coffee, so...
It's the best alarm clock for Rowan. He loves this kind of alarm clock.
He's already like, his energy is fully
Who
charged.
needs coffee? Who needs coffee?
You know, I've been listening to the back and forth between Daniel and Egyptian, and the last thing that was asked was where's the evidence, XYZ, and as far as I'm concerned, that question is not only misleading, it's a non-starter. And,
Disgusting.
well, and that.
Well, I mean, it should put his criticism of Israel in perspective. Like, consider who it's coming from. You're offended?
And
fuck you. I don't care. You're a rape denialist. Who the fuck cares what you think?
Well, Egyptian, do you know what the word indoctrinate means? Look it up. I posted it in the chat, and then I want your comment about it.
About what
I
again?
don't think you can read that much English. People like you are
Just look for Shlomo, look for me in the chat, and look up the word indoctrinate, and then tell me if you understand what it is, okay?
Shlomo, read it.
Look, and you want me to read it? Okay. Indoctrination is mostly associated as a negative kind of teaching where students are expected to follow what is taught to them without making any inquiry or thinking critically. The teacher aims at developing the mind of the learner, and in teaching is the opposite. The mind of the learner to acquire knowledge, moral values, and ethics. Now, who is indoctrinated and who is educated in the Middle East, okay? And who are civilians? How dare you say that there are civilians in Gaza? There are virtually no civilians. Maybe 6 months and under, maybe 1 year and under. Once they're at 1 year of age, these children by Hamas are indoctrinated to hatred, to kill and murder and maim anybody, including Arabs, including Muslims. They kill their own people, never mind Jews and Hindus. So what the hell, wake up and get a real life. That's what we're trying to tell you. And be honest, look in the mirror and look at the bullshit that you're trying to feed us.
They want to ثواني بس يا أحمد معلش. Mr. Shlomo, have you finished your powerful speech? Can I respond, please?
Yeah, I want you to respond with sanity and understanding, not with tainted, illogical, hateful reasoning, designed with the purpose of being
Well, first of all, my beautiful dear Linda, I'm sorry I I did something against what you expected. I read what Mr. Shlomo.
Oh, you read the truth. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. That's number one.
Oh, no,
Number two.
we
Mr. Shlomo,
we expect
you don't have the right to judge me. You can say whatever you want about what I say, but you don't have the right to judge me. I don't have the right to judge you either. Number
But
three,
you judge gay people.
how could you be so sure that what is happening there is what you say is A and the other is B and all those things? Have you ever been there?
Yes, I'm talking about civilians there. And yes, there are so many civilians there. Whatever they are, either they are 50 years or older, or maybe 40 years or younger. Not only 1 year or 6 years, as well, 6 months, as you say. Where did you get these ages from?
Let him talk, Ilumi. Let him talk, Ilumi.
Out of here.
I sat on the shores of the Lake Tiberias in 1958, before anyone else here at this moment was born. I sat there. Nobody here, was anybody here born before 1958? I was born in 1942. And I knew from that time that the reason, thank God, and I dare say it, my fellow Jews might not like me saying it, but I was told personally by the young Israelis who were 19 and 20 years old, and I was 16, that thank God that those Arabs are all at each other's throats. And it's so that is the case till today. Never mind hating us Jews. Hamas hates Arabs. They hate the so-called Palestinians who are Arabs. They're not Palestinian. My great-grandparents were Palestinian. And it said on the passports of Jews, Palestinian. Okay? That was a real Palestinian, as well as the Arabs that lived there in the early part of the 20th century and the end of the 18th century or the 19th century, whatever. Okay? So don't tell me history, and why don't you people start being honest? We'll look up to we can look honestly at ourselves and see where we might have gone wrong, but which I'm sure we have in some ways, especially religiously with our factionalization. But you people are hateful towards everybody, and don't tell me you're a religion of peace when you've murdered over 100 million Hindus in the last hundreds of years. You can't be a religion of peace when you murder people. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Face it. You can't even argue with me in the world because you know it's a lie.
Okay. And first of all, I didn't give any historical lecture. I didn't give any historical lecture as you do now, Mr. Shlomo. That's number one. Number two, it is really racist when you really talk about people in Gaza as they are hater and about blah 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 just because they are from there. That is really racist. You never dealt with them. You know nothing about the situation there. You know nothing, and you are the one who is delusional. You are the one who is not saying the facts.
You literally just said that 5 minutes ago. Can you come up with something?
Go ahead, Ahmed.
I just wanted to say that I shared the link at the top, also Egyptian. Maybe you can save it and watch it later. It's about the show called The Pioneers of Tomorrow that was aired in Gaza. I think it's still aired today. But save it and watch it later. Maybe we can discuss it another.
I want to also go back to
because it is
about
2:20 a.m. here.
Shlomo.
Yeah, save it for a different day.
No.
Anyways, Daniel, if I shouted again, if I shouted at you, please don't take it personally.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also sorry that I raised my voice.
It's okay.
You guys are still friends.
It's 2:20 a.m. here, so I got to know.
Shlomo, you also know that to Palestine and
I will listen to Ahmed and then
You don't want to hear about how the Palestinians barricaded themselves in Al-Aqsa Mosque and how they were playing soccer in the mosque? You don't want to hear about that?
ماشي نتكلم ده اللي انت بس
Yeah, you guys don't want to hear the truth. It's okay.
You also know the came to Palestine.
I'm not talking anymore.
War. I
want to talk, you talk to Daniel.
I don't want you to talk, I want you to hear. Okay? You also know that you came to Palestine after the World War. You took the land by force, fought the Arabs, created the
Yeah, that's not actually
killed
true.
civilian with the weapons. Okay.
Like, how long do we have to listen to someone who knows less than us about this try to lecture us about
You're
that?
telling lies. All of it
You
is
actually
lies.
don't know the history of men.
No, this is true. This is true.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not true.
No, it
Jews
isn't.
were immigrating
Just
back to
lying.
Palestine in large numbers
100%
60 years
true.
before 1948.
Listen,
Okay,
I
but consider the fact that
hold on.
the anti-Semitic country's education system doesn't teach you everything about this conflict.
This is the problem. Brian, stop confusing him with the facts. That's my advice.
Stop confusing him with the facts.
In Egypt, there was a massacre of Jews in the year 1012.
After Nazim,
There were
Nazim
massacres of
came
Jews
to
in
Palestine
Cairo and
and do
Alexandria
Nazim things
in
to
the years
Palestinian people.
1047, 1168, 1265, 1324. That's before Zionism, was a thing. That's before it existed.
No, it's after.
There's always been Jewish presence in the land of Israel. There's always been Jews there.
You do Nazim thing to Palestinian people as
This is why I'm just really, really fucking bored when you try to express your outrage over what Israel is going through with the Palestinians. When you act like you're just this neutral observer. Your country is so fucking anti-Semitic that they make soap operas about Jews kidnapping kids and drinking their blood. And that's on TV during Ramadan. Okay, that's normal for you. That's normal for you. You have a 1,000-year history of massacring us and oppressing us and persecuting us. And the second you see Jews with guns defending themselves, you fucking shit. And you talk about how offended you are by what we say or don't say in a fucking mosque. Go fuck yourselves. You're an anti-Semitic society. We have a deeply anti-Semitic culture, okay? I know some of you are alright, I know some of you are fine, but your fucking society is sick.
Just talking over him, Mark. Shut the fuck up.
Hey.
Yes, that's what they do.
I don't see
Rohan?
you're actually taking everything in. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a mod, right?
Yeah.
So I see this conversation like actually going nowhere, so we need to move on.
Do you like chicken wings?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you. Are you cooking? Or you deliver? Same.
You want chicken wings?
Oh my
Give you chicken wings. Well, I find it like hysterical.
If I was mod, I could make chicken wings, but I don't have the wings.
I just want to tell Brian that I love him.
You too.
Brian, can you feel it?
I can feel it.
Wow, I think that's beautiful. There's a lot of love going through the room, which is pretty cool. Ahmed, can you feel the love?
Why is Hania being
what?
in Qatar?
Right? You saw that too. He's not being buried in Palestine. I'm very.
It could be that those were his wishes.
To be buried in Qatar.
Could be.
He wants all his favorite call girls to be able to visit him from the
Isn't it weird that they're like so obsessed about the land? What?
Don't comment, Brian.
That he wants all of his top call girls to be able to visit him from the hotel.
But it's so weird that they're so obsessed with the land, but when he goes to be buried, he doesn't say, I want to be buried in Palestine.
In our land that we are fighting so hard for. The land that
honestly,
people all died for.
But honestly, I was really surprised of this, like, that they didn't choose to be buried in Palestine. I find it weird.
Ahmed, what do you think? Isn't it strange?
Strange about what? Ask again, please.
That why Hania, the head of Hamas that was killed yesterday, unfortunate accident, he will be buried in Doha, in Qatar, and not in Palestine, not in Gaza, not in anywhere like in the land. What do you think about this?
I
Don't
don't
you think
like
it's strange that...
I don't like this man, by the way.
Yeah, I don't like this man also.
I don't like Hamas also, by the way.
Yeah, that wasn't the question.
I didn't agree with kill children also. That's it. But I don't
With
like
what?
Hamas. I don't like Ismail Haniyeh. I don't like these people because they fought us before. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I understand,
so
but
will you
the question was about...
congratulate Israel for taking Hanaya out?
What?
Do you congratulate
Actually-
Israel for taking Hanaya out?
Actually, you know
don't
what,
like
Israel's
No, I
not
will
taking
not
credit for it.
congratulate Israel because they killed children. I'm not
Because they what?
Israel in anything.
Israel's not taking credit for it.
Okay, that's my point.
Also,
And they said,
Ahmed, what is...
they say that, no, that some of his bodyguards were the ones who helped put this into motion.
But why would they do that? I did hear that, but why? Like, what do you think?
Go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel.
No, I want to know if you support the Houthis.
What?
Do you support the Houthis in Yemen?
Are they still with the blowfish or what?
See?
The Houthis, you know the Houthis? You know who the Houthis are in Yemen?
It's like a musical band.
Yeah.
What?
Wait,
Do you support them? No, I'm getting to a point and then I'm moving it back to you guys, to you guys. Ahmed, do you support the Houthis? Okay.
Silence is a response too.
Is that?
Do
I don't
you
think
support...
Danielle, I don't think he understands your question.
He said yes. He said
So you
yes.
can ask...
He understands.
You do support... Ahmed, can you answer
He
the
did.
question?
He said yes.
I support.
Okay.
Yeah, I support.
Okay, and are you aware that, because you just said like a minute ago that you care about the children, are you aware that in Yemen 130 kids die every single day of starvation only? Only from starvation, 130 children die every day in Yemen because of the Houthis. Are you aware of this?
No. Honestly, I'm not aware of this.
I understand.
Then why do you
because
support them? What do you support about them?
I support them because they hate Israel. They hate Israel a lot.
I understand, but they also, but okay, so they hate Israel, but they also kill many children. Okay, that's fine. Each one in his own. Okay, now we can go ahead.
Wait.
and keep
Oh,
back.
I see. One second. I need to understand something. So the criteria is somebody who hates Israel is okay.
I will search about this.
Is that
topic,
is that the criteria? Is that the criteria?
I think you're
Thank you.
spot on with that.
Yep. And you're down.
Ahmed, why
Yes, this is why I wanted to ask the question about the Houthis, because people that are claiming that they care about the children are usually bullshitting. It's not about love for the Palestinians, it's about hate for Israel. And using children is like everybody else is using the Palestinians. They're using them as pawns in a game. They don't care about substance.
I don't know about this topic. I will search. I didn't know that.
Great, thanks. When talking, when Mod's speaking, just give them like a little bit of respect. Okay, want to be able to have a conversation. Thanks. I mean, you have been speaking a lot. Look, I think I'd be curious to be able to shift the conversation a little bit to understanding why hates Israel and his delusional ideologies. Anybody interested in going in that direction?
Yeah, I'd love to go there. Ahmed, why do you hate Israel?
He said because of killing children.
Why does? Can we let him talk?
so
أحمد ليه تكره اليهود؟
Or in the meantime, we could talk about how Egypt used chemical weapons in Yemen in the 60s. Is anyone interested in that?
I am.
Before we move on to Egypt, I was still wondering about Haniyeh and what, are they going to have a shiva? And if they're going to have a shiva, are they going to have deli? I wanted to know what deli they're going to bring the pastrami and corned beef from.
And
you think Ahmed's going to attend?
It's going to be in Doha.
Oh, it's going to be in Doha? Oh, man. Brent's Deli. I don't think Brent's Deli delivers to Doha.
I heard they're bringing Israeli food, like almost falafel.
You're going to have Israeli salad or what?
They're gonna have Israeli hummus, Israeli falafel.
I think Ahmed is ready to speak again.
But Matt, they're not going to have Brent. It doesn't deliver that far.
You know why they're banning Doha? Because they couldn't find Palestine anywhere. It doesn't exist on the map.
They put it in the GPS and it said
nothing came up.
The headquarters of Palestine for Doha.
I thought Qatar was about to kick them all out anyway.
Well, now they've got them forever.
Anyway, Linda, can you answer the question that I asked before? Do you remember what it was?
Do you mind repeating? Oh, why is it?
Yeah, why do you think that his bodyguards would, like, what's their motive to shooting him? Is there any, you might not know the answer.
No, this is just one of the few things that I read today.
Yeah, me too.
At least, that they gave intelligence. Why? It could be a few reasons. Either it could have been personal, it could have been monetary reasons. I mean, I think it runs the gamut.
Gotcha, okay.
But his bodyguard was also killed.
Well, one bodyguard was killed.
Yes.
One. And that was
just another one.
No, that one bodyguard actually was collateral damage, and all that, but he had many bodyguards.
Well, it's not really a collateral damage because he by himself has a nice rap sheet. He did like
But I'm saying,
terror attack in Israel in 2014.
You're right, but he himself wasn't the target.
Or
of course.
Or they could also aid seeing the Palestinian suffering that is caused by Hania and all these other people moving around and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's another reason, possibly.
It's the only way it's going to stop is if Hamas stops.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just suspicious that Hamas was so quick to put out the information. It's very suspicious.
Which one? Which information?
On his death.
Whereas they...
On Hania's death? I don't think it came from Hamas. I think it came from Iran.
No, that's not right. It came from Hamas over Telegram first.
Really?
Yeah, it came from Hamas before Tehran. That's true.
Yeah. And then, so there's, I don't know, you have, there's something off about all these things. You get the president of Iran in the helicopter, you got this bombing in the Golan Heights that Hezbollah didn't claim. But there's something a bit off. I think there's infighting going on.
What do you think? What do you think about the Hezbollah? How do you see the Hezbollah missile launch? Alexa, stop. How is that connected?
You guys saw that you might be going to war with Iran soon?
Daniel,
no, I don't think there will be a war.
Israel sent a message to Iran saying if they respond, it will be a full-scale war.
Where did you read this?
Where did you read this?
It's everywhere on Twitter. I'll send.
Yeah, can you post a link? Because I did just get a phone call about that too. That someone I know is leaving.
Daniel, you know the details about Shukra? What's his name? Shukra, the leader of Hezbollah, how he was taken out in Beirut?
Shukra? Hassan Nasrallah.
Yeah, Shukra.
Still alive for now.
There were two buildings, and he was in the middle building, and the precision of the IDF missile took out the building in the middle, the whole building.
You're talking about the attack that happened in the embassy of the Iranian embassy in April?
No, I'm talking about Beirut.
Okay, now, okay, got it. Hezbollah, the Shukr, this guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in the chat, okay?
I see that Israel says that they are ready to retaliate in case Iran will attack.
What they said is that if they are willing to go to full-scale war, if Iran, Hezbollah, and other Iranian-backed groups conduct a strike which causes significant damage and casualties.
Well, yeah, so Iran has declared like a war on Israel, but besides that, beginning Thursday, United and Delta have canceled all further flights to Tel Aviv. And I think that's saying something.
When your guys'
Pardon?
Your guys' stocks
Pardon?
He also canceled all flights to Lebanon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, my cousin's flight 2 days ago was canceled.
Whoa.
Most
Okay.
airlines
For 48 hours.
Oh, is that what's going on? Okay, I didn't see 48 hours. Thanks.
See, I will tell you which company.
Iran has cleared their airspace.
When now?
Just now, they just cleared their airspace. It says an hour ago.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think you guys should actually be careful. There might be a strike tonight.
Yeah, listen, we live under a threat of rockets like since we were born.
That's fair.
I don't think it's anything new. Like, we all have shelters, we all know what to do. And I don't think that Iran would risk hitting civilians. They will try to hit a strategic target. I don't think they will dare to do something against civilians.
Meanwhile,
if they do, it's full-scale
US
war.
yesterday did an
Yes, exactly.
like that.
Could you repeat that? Matt, could you repeat that, please?
US yesterday did an airstrike on Baghdad on a bunch of drone launchers.
Oh, cool. I think I missed that. Thank you.
Yeah. So every single one of the Axis countries have been attacked in the past 24 hours. No, none of them are safe.
Except for North Korea.
There are quite a few.
Yaakov, touche.
One of the judoka just got disqualified today. I think enough problems. That person's gonna get.
Did you see the Israeli take down the Turkish judoka?
Pretty awesome. They're about to medal in both the male and female examples.
Yaakov, the price of kimchi has gone up 15% in North Korea.
Oh,
People
dear.
starve.
Yeah.
The only people eating well are the army, heads of the army, and the Olympic team, the scientists working on their missile programs. Everyone else. They're expensive.
That trade deal between Putin and Kim, I'm pretty sure might provide some.
Yeah, but not for the people.
No, but for the military.
Yeah. My point was the greater population.
Today we mark the day 300 of the war.
Well, according to a data source, 60% of North Koreans live in abject poverty.
50%? Well,
60%, 60.
not 60.
60.
90% of Lebanese are about to live in poverty. Just watch. Would you guys occupy south of the Litany River and make it part of Israel?
Out of which one?
If Hezbollah, retaliates, Israel will...
Litani.
Litani River. Is it gonna... So it's gonna be occupied. Is it gonna be annexed? If a war starts?
Wow.
I think it needs to be annexed, like the goal.
The UN was supposed to clear out that area 18 years ago, and it still hasn't happened.
Rabbi, no one
even
takes you
worse.
seriously when you wear
We need to go through 17. We need.
Yeah, and worse yet, the UN vehicles are used by Hezbollah.
1701.
They literally just took it. It's like insane. So I think Israel should just annex that land.
Israel tried that, it didn't work.
Well, no, we didn't try to do that.
They never annexed it, they occupied it for quite a number of years twice.
It didn't work, and the soldiers kept going back home in body bags. That strategy failed.
Did it actually?
It also manifested Hezbollah.
Well, Hezbollah was manifested when the Palestinians were kicked out of Jordan and went to Lebanon and created a terrorist group.
No, that is not correct.
Fake news, dude.
That's what I thought. Black September. I'll go ask ChatGPT this.
Research, man.
It's funny.
No, you're
Someone
talking about where the PLO went to versus what spawned Hezbollah. PLO bounced all over the place.
Yeah, you're thinking of the PLO. You're thinking of Arafat and the PLO right now.
Yeah. They were in Lebanon. They were also in Tunisia. They were also in Libya. They bounced all over.
Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982 to expel the PLO. It didn't create.
Hezbollah was created as a result
of
resistance. They did not
Resistance
exist
to what?
You can answer that question. They did not exist for the.
Fadi.
Okay, so you're fighting for Iran. What are they resisting? Are they occupied in Lebanon? Are they occupied in Iran?
Sorry, you asking? Do you mind repeating the question?
What are they resisting? They are not occupied. They are in Lebanon. They are in Iran.
Yeah. So today, you're absolutely correct. They should lay down their weapons, and like every other militia did in Lebanon, and there should be one authority with weapons, and that's the Lebanese army. That's it. But what we were talking about is the strategy of occupying southern Lebanon. Doesn't work.
Hezbollah was established by Lebanese clerics primarily to fight the 1982 Israeli invasion of Lebanon. It adopted the model set out by Ayatollah Khomeini after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The party's founders adopted the name Hezbollah as chosen by Khomeini. Since then, close ties to the Lebanon. Yeah, so, yeah, it's...
And a key there is that they're Shia. The PLO is Sunni. And those are the ones that, Black September, Arafat was behind the murder of Israeli athletes at the Olympics in 1972 Munich.
The organization was created with the support of 1,500 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC instructors.
Yeah, so that's not really okay. Resistant.
Call it what you will. I just said it was a result of. It was a result of the invasion. It's just facts. It's not.
No, I understand now. That still calling themselves resistant. People refer to them as
there's no resistance today. Yeah, you're right. Today, to call them resistance is a fallacy.
They're offensive.
Of the greatest countries.
They are offensive in more ways than one.
I am very curious about that errant missile, though.
Which errant
missile?
One?
The Hezbollah one?
The one that killed the Druze, the Julin.
What are you curious about? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to figure out why.
It's an unguided munition.
Yeah, it's a bomb it's a missile that was sent indiscriminately. They didn't know they were hitting a school or like a soccer field. They just threw it to wherever. They thought that they might hit something, and they did. Unfortunately, it was a Jewish village, and then this is why they got panicked and automatically said, "Oh, we didn't do this because they were afraid of the retaliation of the Jewish community, which is also in Lebanon, which also, by the way, threatened them." And that's not the first time. I mean, there was a time that I think it was PIJ that took Jews from the hospital, like kidnapped him, and the Jews basically said, "Listen, you have X amount of hours. If you don't bring him back, or else," and they brought him back.
So, it's an Iranian copy. It's an Iranian copy of
themselves, and they were like,
"Yes, sir."
Just in that story, the Druze, I think, for people from PIJ, and they were like, "If you don't give us our person back, we're going to execute these people."
Yes, I mean, I made the story way shorter, but yes, it was more dramatic. But they were like basically acting not just as Israel, but as the Druze community, and they have no problem with doing shit that Israel cannot do. For example, taking hostages and threatening them and stuff like this. So they were more effective than the IDF because they can use tactics that we cannot.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
The munition they used, well, as far as I can tell from reading,
Iranian
was
made,
Iranian version of the Russian Grad. It's a multiple launch rocket system. It's on the back of a truck, and you see a bunch of tubes sticking up at an angle. It's about 20 kilometers distance, and when it impacts, it has an accuracy rate, just to put it in perspective, of 600 meters by 600 meters. That's a huge area. square, so 600 meters square. We're not talking about something that can knock out a specific building. It's a specific block.
I see.
And then they have to, even if the truck is moved like a couple millimeters in the wrong direction, at its 21-kilometer range, it's miles off.
Yeah, I don't know how far away they actually launched it, because Marshall Shams is really close to the border. I don't know how far away from the border they are launching them. I don't think it's 21 kilometers.
Yeah, but even if that's the maximum, even if it's 10 or 5, it just still does the same. You know,
it's not accurate. It's just an average, like azimuth. They're like, okay, that direction kind of go.
Yeah, kind of like, we don't know what's there, but you know,
we will find out in a few hours.
Exactly. And look, I think something like over 7,000 projectiles, including anti-tank munitions and other things, and UAVs and drones that, suicide drones, over 7,000 since October 7th. They're throwing everything indiscriminately.
Yes, I think that they also know which cities are being evacuated and which are not. And I think that they're trying to target areas that were not evacuated.
Yeah, you hear me out.
I haven't heard anything in the media about them indiscriminately bombing in Israel. We don't hear indiscriminately bombing.
Of course not. You haven't even heard the White House talk about what happened in the Golan.
Kids.
Yeah, no, nothing from the president nor the vice president who's running to become president. Nothing. Radio silence. Radio silence.
God help us if she becomes president. God help us if that fucking bitch becomes president.
Well, here's my nightmare scenario. Just tell me if you think this is wrong or right, but is that somehow the Iranians tell Hamas, release the hostages. Then the Democrats can claim that through their negotiations, it'll be an October surprise. You ever hear of the October surprise? Like right before the election, late October, right? And then the Democrats can get up and say, "Oh, I worked so hard. I'm Kamala Harris. I got my policy chops. I got these people out." And then, because the last thing they want is Donald Trump in power. They prefer her because she's like a, pushover. So, wouldn't surprise me if they used the hostages for political gain in the U.S. elections.
That's an interesting play.
I mean, it would be an interesting play, but Hamas is too much of savages to ever do that.
No, but they can do it with the 5 American hostages and gain what you were saying without finishing without finishing the game. So Hamas can do this in order to kind of have United States on their side and kind of get support of the idiots on the left.
Right, you're right, because
I think you can make them do that.
What?
It's just that can make them do. Biden has never mentioned their names. Harris doesn't talk about them, even if they were to do it, because Harris and Biden haven't made it an issue. The media hasn't made it an issue. I just don't think they'll get as many points as you guys think.
I don't know. It's just I pose it as what would happen. Do you think it would?
I think it's very easy to gain points with the pro-Hamas people.
Yeah.
To be honest,
and that would be a very smart move if they did that.
Look at the swing districts in the U.S. Look at Michigan. The swing districts, Wayne County, and so on. Look at the population of Muslims in that county, and see why Harris and Biden is afraid to talk against them.
Okay. So today's July 31st. I'm going to put a note in my calendar that we made this suggestion. Let's reconvene in November 1st.
This prediction.
Yeah. I don't want to laugh at the expense of hostages.
I actually
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No, of course. I think they can actually do it for the 5 American hostages.
Yeah, I've been so focused on all of them as opposed to 5, and I think you're exactly right. They can let the 5 Americans.
It's a win-win for everyone. Except for it's a win-win also for Hamas.
Exactly.
It lays out a bit of the pressure.
They're so nice. Leave.
No. They will also. The United States will have to give something in return.
Mm-hmm.
Which may be support, which would be, I don't know, whatever. Let's see.
Okay, I'm putting it down. It's a note. Testel.
Is this new Iranian president more hardline than the last guy? I haven't really researched him.
I don't think it really matters because I don't think it matters because the Ayatollah controls everything. So I don't think it
I heard it. He's moderate. He's much more moderate than the others, just like Hania.
Yeah,
He's moderate, just like Hania. He's exactly moderate the way Hania is. So let's just like keep that into.
Yeah,
and that's what we have to. That's what we call context. If you ask the Harvard president,
depends on the context. Depends on the context.
Yeah. And now we have Khaled Mashal. So it used to be is the new Hamas head.
Daniel, were you here? I can't do it justice, but Scott was saying the IDF is the best jobs creator in the Mideast because one moment you're walking around as a soldier, the next you're VP because someone was killed above you. It was hysterically funny when he
said if the US really wants, the hostages can be released tomorrow. The US can get the hostages released within 1 hour because they can pressurize. No, every hostage, because they can pressurize Qatar and say we'll blow the fuck out of your palaces, right? And we'll remove the US base, military base in Qatar, or take over the government. And Qatar will be forced to pressurize Hamas.
The US will never do that.
I know they won't do that because the Democrats.
Wait. The US is too reliant on oil. The US will never do that. Never.
No, but that's a legacy take, Linda.
No.
The U.S. gets all their oil from themselves in Canada at this point.
We're the third largest.
We are, but we have an awful lot of imported oil that we count on daily.
No, we don't.
We do.
From Canada. You can look up these statistics. You can ask ChatGPT. We get 99% of our oil from ourselves in Canada. The U.S. is totally, and this thanks to Trump, by the way, the U.S. is totally turned off importing oil from the Middle East.
We get a lot from Texas too. It's the pipeline from Canada and Texas right now. Like we're less reliant on foreign oil.
So this is 2022. 12% of U.S. total petroleum imports were from the Persian Gulf.
No, the US can force Qatar to sell the oil. I mean, the US can just change the government, regime change in Qatar, and still control the oil. We have the largest military base in Qatar in the world, right? So, US is completely in control of Qatar, and they are still playing against us. They are still, propagandizing through Al Jazeera. So, US can get the hostages released. I think Blinken doesn't have the balls, and Biden is completely, he's already half dead. And Kamala Harris wants the Democratic vote base, the Islamist vote base in the US. So she's not going to act against them. She's too woke. So Trump can get this done in 1 hour after he's president.
So it's down to 10. In 2023, OPEC countries were 16%. Remember, that includes Venezuela, but I don't believe we're importing Venezuelan oil. The current time, Maduro may change that if he's thrown out.
We actually have export more oil than import now. The U.S. exports more oil than import.
Yeah, I know, but we import from Persian Gulf countries 10% of our oil because it's what we produce is a different grade of oil than what we get from the Mideast. So there is some imports, 10%.
Yeah, it says 2021, 8% ChatGPT.
What'd you say?
ChatGPT said 8% in 2021.
Yeah, I said 10%.
Similar to what you said.
Yeah, similar. Yes, close.
And Qatar probably has more gas than they have oil. If I'm not wrong. They are gas supplier to Europe as well. Saudi has more oil.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. So Khaled Mashal it will be the new head of the Hamas. He was already head of the Hamas before Ismail Haniyeh until 2017. We tried. That is quite a nice story. Like we tried to assassinate him once, and it was in Jordan. And with Jordan, we have a peace treaty. It was supposed to be a very covert operation. So they were supposed to basically go and they were supposed to kill him with poison.
Poison, right? Yeah.
Right. So after they spritzed the poison, they were arrested, the Mossad agents, and then the operation was exposed. So the Jordanian king had to get involved. So Israel had to give the Jordanians an antidote for the poison and saving his life, and to release the Ahmed Yassin, who was the Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, which was like, he was one of the founders of Hamas. He's the guy on the wheelchair, if you know him.
He was their religious.
Yeah, exactly. He was like their imam and whatever. And we released him for the release of the Mossad agents from Jordan. Then Marshall was also the one leading the organization during the negotiation for the release of Gilad Shalit in exchange for like 1,000+ Palestinian prisoners,
including Yahya Sinwar.
And including Yahya Sinwar, exactly. And basically, he's basically a Hamas ideologist, like. The entire land is theirs, from the river to the sea. They do not acknowledge the Zionist conquerors, no legitimacy, yada, yada, yada. And they are against the two-state solution.
The rocks and the trees that the Jews are hiding behind are going to
yes.
kill them. Except for this one tree that was there when the Jews planted them in Palestine 2,000 years ago. You know, where the Jews weren't, apparently.
But how do you split that with? Someplace there's the Surah that says that, depending on your translation, the children of Israel or the children of the covenant shall dwell in the land. Like, how do we get to peacefully dwell in the land, protected by the trees and the rock? Yet the rocks and the trees are going to give us up.
They deny. A lot of them deny their own tradition. Beit al-Maqdis literally means the Temple Mount, like that the house of holiness. It's the Jewish temple.
Oh, do you want to see? I came across Rabbi. You would love this. Let me pull it up and put it in the up on the top. I found a 1925 guide to the Temple Mount, published by I think it's the Supreme Muslim Council of Jerusalem.
I think it was part of it.
Yeah, it essentially says that where the Dome of the Rock was is where King Solomon's temple was, and then it says underneath. I just put it at the top. Underneath, Supreme Muslim Council. Underneath Al-Aqsa is where King Solomon's stables, the horse stables, were. And they would never write this in today's world. But this is essentially validating the Jewish claim to the Temple Mount.
Because they acknowledged history until it was inconvenient for them.
Exactly. So take a look at that.
I believe there was an earthquake that happened that actually needed to renovate and to actually fix the Temple Mount. So they had to literally go down there and excavate. And once the stuff that they found out, and I think that's where
that's different. That's different. There's a project called the Temple Mount Sifting Project. I can put that in the chat. When there was the WAC decided to build an underground portion of the mosque, they brought in bulldozers to the Temple Mount. I don't know how they got them there, but they did. And I think a couple hundred tons of material, and they just dumped it. So Israel found out about it, kind of put a halt to it. I think this is 2004. And they've been sifting through the rubble ever since. It's called the Jerusalem, just Google Jerusalem Sifting Project, SIFTING. And you'll find all about it. It wasn't an earthquake, it was because of renovations, if you will.
There had been earthquakes in the area, but also
but that's not what caused it.
They started putting the stuff, they started sneaking this stuff out and trying to destroy it and destroy the evidence. And Israel proceeded to find First Temple things that proved the House of David and the Jewish presence and the priestly blessing. Yeah.
So
from the First Temple, not even just from the Second Temple,
exactly.
But things from the First Temple, which is incredible.
So I will put that in the chat, the Temple Sifting Project.
So when are the Jews going to get it back and stop playing this whole Islamophobia game and get their temple back?
Good question. We gave up sovereignty over it when we conquered it in 1967.
Well, yeah. Sharon walked up to this is a great story, walked up to the gate. The WAC guys said, "Here are the keys. It's yours." I don't think on the spot. I think he communicated with headquarters. They
That's
said, give the keys back, right? Give the keys back.
I think that was
Right?
back.
67, right?
Sharon was in the.
Did I say Sharon? Yeah.
Sharon was in the Sinai. I think you're thinking Moshe Dayan.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I sometimes do that. I make that mistake. Thank you
Most
very
get the
much.
rabbinate. It's like until the Messiah comes, we don't want this.
Exactly.
That's a very minority opinion, though.
Yeah.
Like, I go up there whenever I can, but I go to the mikvah first, and I stay on the outskirts.
Yeah. I stay outside, right up by the wall. So let me find out the date.
Do a counterclockwise perambulation of the Temple Mount.
Yeah. So they've been sifting for 19 years. They've done 4,598 out of 5,210 tons of dirt sifted. They've recovered 616,103 artifacts waiting to be published in archaeological reports.
Look, every historical mosque in India, every historical mosque, anything above 300 years old, has been constructed on the ruins of Hindu temples and Buddhist monasteries. Okay, every time we dig something under a historical mosque, we find remnants of temple. In fact, they have restructured temple walls to create the mosque, and we have recovered just one temple out of thousands, and we did this last year. We inaugurated our largest historical temple, which was converted to a mosque. So you have to do it too, Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who's talking? Oh, hold on. I have a question for you. Shiva?
Yeah.
So Prime Minister Modi ran on a platform of removing the personal laws that allow Muslims to have Sharia law for, I think it's 4 categories: marriage, inheritance, charity, and I forget what the 4th category is. Other than that, there is, of course, secular laws.
Was it
Right. So, do you think that they'll actually repeal because those laws have been around since like 1930s or something like that? Do you think they'll actually repeal those in India?
So it's because of the Brits, right? They put a lot of pressure to have these Muslim personal laws. Although we gave them a country called Pakistan,
exactly.
But many Muslims decided to stay back in India. No, they won't let us repeal them. And by the way, Modi doesn't have the majority he used to have before.
I know.
Because the Muslims, because of the temple creation, the Muslims, as a bulk, completely voted against the BJP. And the Hindu wokes and the Hindu liberals are already against the BJP. So I don't think they can repeal this personal law. But the funny thing is, the Muslims don't want their personal laws for crime and punishment. They don't want hands to be chopped. They don't want.
They don't have the personal laws for crime. They don't have it for felonies.
Yeah, I'm saying they want Sharia everywhere else except for the criminal part of Sharia, because they're too afraid of their own Sharia laws. But they want it for marrying 4 wives, right? They want it for no inheritance to women. In Kashmir, if a Muslim woman wants to marry a non-Muslim guy, she loses all her land, all her property, so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, in India is a gone case. I don't see much because the rate of growth of the Muslim population is far too high. Hindu wokes won't get married, won't have children, so it's a lost cause.
Okay, thanks. I put the 2 links to the sifting project in. One has the charitable organization that's running it. The other is just the history of why it was created.
Yes, they will hate you whether you build the temple or not. So why not just build a temple and at least regain your cultural heritage?
I think we'd be better off waiting for an earthquake to raise it, and then we'll figure it out.
I mean, when we wanted to build elevators just to take people down to the Western Wall from not even the Temple Mount, but like from the side, they almost started World War III. So
Which side? You mean?
from like the steps, the steps from the Jewish Quarter to the.
Oh yeah.
You know,
So
like
opposite. If you're at the Western Wall, if you turn your back, you put your back to the Western Wall, which you shouldn't, looking at all the way to the steps at the far right of the courtyard.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's that yeshiva on the right there that has 6 candles for the 6 million Jews, like right on the roof.
Yeah, sort of that area.
Yeah, that's where I went to learn. Whenever we were in Israel, that's where we learned in that yeshiva.
Yeah. It's Aish, I believe, or Orator. I don't remember.
No, it's Orator. Aish is on the far left. It's really high up. It's almost by where the buses come in.
Yep. That's usually the way I come down.
And it's pretty cool to see all the Aish students come down the bus.
Okay, I just came back in the room. Why is it quiet?
Because we solved all the issue.
Egyptian left. The other guy from Egypt left.
Oh, the 2 Egyptians left.
And what's his name? The RGC guy. Thorne left. And
so now we're just in like a kumbaya state.
Yeah.
And I told them to be quiet until you come back.
You know, it was kind of fun. I if you noticed how I was building up about the foreign aid and just kind of working towards that one with him.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I didn't mean to harp on gays so much, but I thought it was a good harp. Get them to admit their own prejudices.
But he didn't.
I don't think they see it as a bad thing.
They don't see it as a bad thing. Correct.
No.
As he said, it's not part of our culture. It's not part of our religion. He was very clear on that.
You go to jail.
A better harp would have been Coptic Christians in Egypt. The Coptic Christians are the most hated, the most suppressed people. Gays, they don't care about gays anyway.
And then think about also the thing he said, that all of the Egyptians that come to Israel just come only to pray, that they don't want to experience, or they come out of, like an obligation. It's interesting. I mean, they're so brainwashed over there to see it as an evil. And even the people that come, they try to minimize why they're coming. It's interesting. I tried the Sadat approach. I've tried that before to get them to admit how great Sadat was, and then ask them why they don't identify with his policies. Mm. But the problem was he thought they won the war. So
I thought Rabbi Matt's question.
You were great
about Arabic. And then I said, he was talking about the Egyptian,
hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, and when Moses was there, or Moshe was there, and then I said, well, is Arabic native to your country? And he's like, yeah, we speak it. Like you don't understand the question. It's like he didn't even understand their own. I had to look it up. 630 CE or 670?
Shiva, I was actually going to ask you. I didn't want to ask with him in there. How do they treat other religions? Like, if Hindus are there, do they have temples? How are they in Egypt? Do you know?
You mean temples in India?
No, I'm asking in Egypt how they. I mean, we know how they are to Jews, and we know how they are to Catholics. I was curious how they were to Hindus.
Oh. I can only speak for Coptic. I know a friend of mine is Coptic, and they emigrated here to Yonkers, but I can't talk about Hindus.
Hindus in relation to Egypt? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I was asking. Like as he was defending Egypt, I was curious about all minorities and how they are.
Oh, okay, I'm a little confused. I can't get it. So you're talking about India. You're talking about the other minorities in India.
No. I was asking. What I didn't want to get into it with him. I'm asking in Egypt, which according to him is such a blessed place, how they treat other minorities, including Hindu. I mean, we know how they treat Jews. We know how they treat Catholics. So I was just curious.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. No, I wouldn't feel safe in Egypt for sure. But I know there's a couple of there's Indians working everywhere in the world, like little restaurants and stuff. But the hatred only starts when the population becomes, big enough to be noticed. I know many of my friends have visited Egypt and had no trouble. But we all that once our population reaches a good percentage where they actually recognize Indian symbols, they will start attacking. We have seen that in other countries too. Like Syria, for example. But Hindus are treated better in Shia countries like Iran compared to Sunni countries, except if the Sunni country is being ruled by a dictator like Dubai or, I'm sure it's good for people in Saudi Arabia as well.
Yeah, in Dubai, it's a very big population, and it seemed, a lot of the shopkeepers and such didn't seem like there was an issue there at all.
Yeah, they prefer Hindus to Pakistanis in Dubai, even the locals, because we are known not to cause trouble. But the Pakistanis are not taken so well, even in Dubai. All the
Here's the report from minorityrights.org.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can never become a citizen of Dubai. If you're always leasing land or leasing a business from some local, you can never become a citizen. They have all kinds of laws against that. Even though you might be born there.
Like people who are citizens, they're pretty well taken care of.
Kind of like Monaco.
No, you have to be local,
right?
A small request, Yaakov. I'm moving to listening mode, so if you leave, kick me out, okay? Don't leave me here alone, okay?
If what?
If you are leaving, kick me out of the room or close the room. Don't leave me. Don't leave me here.
Okay. Sure. We have a bunch of limits.
It's kind of like Monaco. It's like hard to become a citizen.
Very hard.
Yeah, I'll tell you another example, right? I have a distant cousin who's not cousin, actually, acquaintance who lives in Qatar. They have grown up. The children have grown up in Qatar. They're doing fairly well, but somebody needed a heart surgery, right? And you're automatically behind in with all the Arabs. So the Arabs get the first preference in Qatar. So she was not able to get the heart surgery done for. Came and did this in India and went back. Although they lived in Qatar for. There's only the tax benefit. That's part.
What I was hoping when Egyptian was in the room was that crazy guy Coptic came in at the same time. That would have been fun.
Which crazy guy?
It's Leia's friend.
I think Leia must be asleep.
She's sleeping.
Wait, which?
I'm joking with you. I'm saying when. Yeah, I was saying when Egyptian was in the room, it would have been fun if Coptic came.
Oh God, that guy.
What's his name? What's his PTR?
Where does he go by now?
I don't even know. Is he still on the app?
What's his PTR name?
Haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while either.
Can you
He
talk
used to be
closer to the mic,
Coptic.
T?
He used to be Coptic Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was vile.
What?
Wait, what? You're breaking up.
Someone's like eating their mic.
Matrix.
Yeah, you're talking about the Australian guy. Topic, the Australian guy.
Yeah. He's a piece of shit.
I salute every piece of shit throughout.
So it would have been fun to have the two of them go at each other.
But that Egyptian person comes in, Daniel, and fights like you guys were on here for hours, and it's never anything positive. So I don't know why you give him space. It's like all day of the same shit.
Who's this?
I don't understand why.
Egyptian.
Go ahead.
And
What do you mean? What's your problem with Egyptian? Like, Soren and Egyptian behave completely differently, and if people are actually aware of paying attention to behavior, they would realize.
Oh, I see the difference. Soren is very intentional. It's different.
Yeah.
Soren is best kept in the audience because then he gets really pissed off down there and can't say anything.
He stays too. He stays in the audience.
Well, he's recording for the IRDC.
Yeah,
Well, he's
probably
getting paid,
recording.
maybe.
Well, I always joke
Good
around
job,
and I
though.
say he's in a bunker in the IRGC social media command center. You know, he's one of five people.
I bet.
He's 5 people on the Clubhouse desk. There's 20 people on, the Facebook desk. There's 400 people on TikToks, 800 people on Instagram. Just.
I don't even think it's a joke.
No, I'm serious. I wouldn't.
I've been calling him useless idiot for the past 12 months because he's really bad at his job.
He turned around and used that on us. He was saying we were useful idiots for Netanyahu.
They use everything we say.
I just pivot to Persian rugs when it run
It's
out.
so funny when you ask that question. And you asked him where's the best gay bar in Tehran.
We don't have such things. What are you talking about?
Remember Ahmadinejad said there's no gays in all of Iran?
Did he say that?
I forgot his first. Yeah, Ahmadinejad in 2013, 14,
Lee
something like that.
Bollinger asked him about it. It's like, we have no such thing. We have no gays in Iran.
Several dictators have said that throughout the year.
Yeah, but then I was asking him about belly dancers sort of going into where the stripper bars are.
I'm about
trying
to take you to
find
the
out.
dark side.
Oh, I did the research on belly dancers in Egypt.
So I think it's legal now. I mean,
It was
banned, right?
yeah, in the 1950s or so, it was banned, and then it was overturned. I want to say early 90s, like 92, 93 or something. And it's only in very specific locations. And I think the belly dancers are mainly not Egyptian. They come from other places. They come there to dance.
Duck up!
Well, what are you talking about? You talking about the Instagram chat, nigga? Nigga, I wasn't on FaceTime with that nigga. Nigga, I already told you. Anything that happened after that, bro, I don't have that Instagram no more, nigga.
This is even before the porno got.
This is called the ghetto.
This as soon as you sent the picture. This is before the porno. I was on phone for well over 10 minutes, man. On Facebook.
No, guy, that shit don't work, guy.
I'm looking at it, bro. It say
That's not me, gang. That's not me, gang. It's not. I'm saying though, if I was on the phone with a motherfucker, why motherfuckers didn't screenshot, screen record, bro? Come on now. Where's the proof, gang?
It's alright, man. Move on.
Motherfuckers, come on. My thing is, y'all talking about the same motherfuckers over here, screenshot, they screenshot and screen record everything. Didn't they do that then, though? My thing is, why didn't they do that then? Come on, everybody knows motherfuckers. If you want to spoil somebody, gang, you screenshot, you screen record everything else. Why not do the whole thing, gang? Come on now, keep it a bean, bro.
G-Money, just come out, bro. Just come out.
Ain't no come out, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? I don't do that gay shit, bro. You would never see me talking to no gay person, nigga, in real life, nigga. Come on now, stop that shit. I don't do that shit, bro.
And Billy is a catfish too, by the way.
I don't give no fuck about nobody else, gang. You talking about somebody else, nigga. That's not me, gang. It don't matter how many times you say it, bro. Come out, you gay. No. It's not me. It would never be me. I talk to real females. I have an actual girlfriend, nigga. A real girl.
You just said Spanky was your girlfriend.
Yes, nigga, that Spanky is my girl. Spanky's coming to Chicago, gang.
You used to talk to a bisexual man.
Who is a bisexual man? Who is that?
Your CEO, Frederick.
You sound dumb, man.
Yeah, they was in a relationship for the longest.
Me and DJ cool. DJ is cool with everybody, nigga.
Tato used to be cool. Tato loved it.
Man, come on now. Nigga, y'all was cool with DJ at one point, nigga. Y'all doing that shit because y'all don't fuck with him no more, nigga. Just because he don't fuck with y'all. It'll be the same thing if me and DJ get into it, nigga. Of course, nigga, I'm not gonna fuck with him. He ain't gonna fuck with me. It's gonna be the same situation. Come on now.
But the difference is nobody's gonna take you in after you fuck with a bisexual man.
You said nobody's gonna what?
Like nobody gonna take you serious after you fuck with a bisexual. Why you trying to justify?
You sound dumb, nigga. Everybody takes me serious, nigga.
Tato, you broke ass wannabe getting the point across ass fake content, wannabe broadcasting ass nigga. You got money from Renaya. You was in her head, whatever, bitch. You broke ass nigga. Do you understand my point? Let me talk to you, Tato. I knew you way before I even got cool with Glock. Bitch, we've been dick sucking each other for a long time. Don't lie like that, Tato. Don't lie like that, Tato. You was just like how I met Oscar. You came in my room trolling me. I guess you liked my voice or whatever. I don't know. I started slapping on you. You came closer. My aggression brought you closer. The same thing I did with Oscar. I tell you no lies. Then on top of that, what happened? You became Big Mike. You started Big Miking. Come in my room, want to sit me down the whole time. I put you on your head with a dick in your mouth and put your legs up out there. And with a dick between your ass cheeks. You pissy bitch ass nigga. Quit trying to throw gay stuff on folks. You the one gay, you catfish ass nigga. Oscar, you blew a kiss at me, I'll never forget. Oscar, you blew a kiss at me, I'll never forget. Yes, you did. Then on top of that, you literally come in my rooms. You don't say it anymore, but you were literally specifically again, call me, hey, poo-poo. What you doing, poo-poo? What's up, poo-poo? You call me your poo-poo. Hey, Jammin, what is you doing, dude?
East-West, that time they generated huge play.
Oh, that's Jews. But yeah, Tato, then look at that. That's another thing. Y'all understand and shut the fuck up when I talk. Hey, one thing about it, who doesn't love a train puppy?
Hey yo, that's not me, yo.
Huh?
Ooh, what you talking about, the game or the music?
Yeah.
The game?
Yeah.
Keep dancing, fuck, nigga. Keep losing.
I'm finna twirl and do every twist and turn I can to please you, bitch. I'm gonna pull all the cum up out you I can. My thing is, Tato, you was a broke Krispy Kreme ass nigga, you hoe ass nigga. It don't even feel right to troll with you no more. Like, hearing your voice, I matched it with that image for so long. The sexy nigga with dreads. Not this broke ass crustable, forever bust ass nigga that we found out that his mama a crackhead. Come on now. Oscar just laughed at you.
No,
Oscar just laughed on sad face for you. Oscar, I'm tired of getting on your case, but I ain't tired of opening the file cabinet to pull out your folder. It got Oscar written on it. Couple peppermints in it. My thing is, Oscar, you was a broke 36-year-old man on Clubhouse letting some of my youngest pack you up and bring you out of your body. You was sad. You getting money. You are financially compensated by your rooms and living off of this app, getting $20 a day for letting trannies sit next to you in your room. You literally paying for what's the word I'm looking for? You are paying for shame. Yes, you are. You're paying for shame. Yes, you're paying for shame. Then on top of that, Oscar, listen, man. You kind of handsome. Do something with yourself, man. Look at your face. You look like a struggle. You look like a struggle. And take that flag off your PTR. America ain't did shit for a black man. That's how I know you goofy anyway, Mr. Clownhouse. Mr. Clownhouse, come on now. My group will be what? The Packs. Yours is what? The Clownhouse. And even though I do go my ways with my sexual preferences, but who gonna be more taken serious? Pissy bitch ass nigga, look at you, nigga. You look like somebody from the Tyler Perry movie who didn't make it out. Perhaps the nigga that died, the old nigga, and your wife getting fucked by her new nigga or something. That's the role you would play. Tato, you're a catfish. You're a catfish. Then on top of that, Tato, this is something that I know. What can be done once can be done again. I really believe you ain't even the nigga that you claim to be now. Ain't no telling. You domino effect ass nigga. We'll never know unless you just get on FaceTime. Tyler, please.
I done already been on FaceTime plenty of times.
When? And then on top of that, I kept it so I knew you was showing that counterfeit money, nigga. I didn't tell nobody. All I said was, hey, he gonna hop on FaceTime with you, show that money. Now, let's keep it real. Have you ever, whatsoever, showed any counterfeit money to anybody on Clubhouse, whether it was a live or a FaceTime?
No.
Get out my room for lying, bitch. That's what you ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna lie to my face.
I'm fucking dead.
I mean, I'm sorry to end the show because he very much was a part of keeping it going, but you're not finna lie like that. You're not finna lie like that.
Bro, see, this the DJ y'all wanted without all that yelling shit.
Really?
Now y'all get me now, baby.
Yeah, we just chilling.
This shit crazy.
Look at that plate down
there. What up, though,
like
Oscar, man? What's the word, gang? What's up?
Alibaba, is that meat done?
What's up, bro? What's up, the door?
Look at that plate on Alibaba.
What's up, little Grant? Man, Alibaba come in here and show that disgusting ass shit.
It look good though, kinda.
DJ, you nasty as fuck for saying
I mean, I don't know if it's a troll picture or what, but it look okay.
The meat not cooked though.
It's not. I knew I wasn't tripping. Yeah, that ain't okay. He trying to kill us.
Yeah, nigga, that shit ain't cooked, man. What the fuck, bro?
But it look like it is done. It's baked. It's underwell done.
Man, don't nobody eat that shit. That shit don't even look like rotisserie, nigga. It can't be baked. It can't be baked.
Oscar, go to Tato little room he made. Go give him company.
Come on, go give him company.
Hey, Jamin, what kind of liquor is that? What it is? What you shooting pool?
You're bang. It feels like you're bang like a stick against something. But I don't think it's. Do you think it's glass?
I think it's glass. Glass.
Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car. Okay, I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs, and I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025. I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team. All right. So leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Any DJ will email about details regarding the conversation with Vice President Trump.
One thing I did notice is when he came,
America's ground never happened. Just putting that out there. And America didn't exist. And America didn't exist back in the first. Before that, it was just a bunch of nations.
He's lying.
None of which were.
He's lying also. He's lying also.
No, I'm not. His name was Christopher Columbo. And
the truth is,
the world was round.
Here it is. You guys want the truth? I got the truth. The truth is, it was a bunch of niggas. It was a bunch of niggas and a bunch of nigga bitches running around in the Americas. And the women had pearls on, and the niggas had bow and arrows, and they ran around and they did their shit. And then the white man came, and now he's talking about he's an American. There goes the truth, people.
Look, man, look. This is like the way that
Kiss my
like the way that land works, man. It's whoever controls it, right? Like through like threats of violence, right? Like the only reason why your example is working out is because you're just saying Native Americans as a whole, not separating them, right? You're not separating the years of war. You're not doing that right because they wouldn't.
You mean when the Yamasee was here fighting the wars?
All right, so like I look, I'm not gonna get into North politics, right? I'm not getting into North politics, right? Because I'm South America, right? Obviously, bro, there's empires there, bro. All right, so there's like
here's who was originally American. Go ahead.
Or when California was Mexico.
The original Americans are English, Scottish, and Irish. That's it.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He just talking.
What do you mean?
You don't really know the facts of who the real Native Americans are, actually. So.
No, those are Native Americans. Those are not.
You don't know who the real Native Americans are. We have no idea.
I mean,
I just told you. Now, if you want to know, you go do your homework.
All we're like making like the only difference we're making is talking about geographic locations versus a country, right? DNT is just saying, hey, they were Americans, not in the sense of like the entire continent. They were originals. They were just part of the colonies that were formed the United States of America. And so by that nation established by them, they were citizens. That's all he's saying, right? And yeah.
I'll give you Michael. It's called Michael D. Coe, right? He's an anthropologist, graduated Harvard. His book called American Civilization. Michael D. Coe. Start right there.
Yeah. Did you want to move to like the came before Columbus? Do you want me to do that?
And you can check that one out too. Like the Vikings, or how far back are we on?
The Thunderbirds.
No. All right, so this is going to be like a bunch of
dinosaurs.
No, the Vikings got here first. We want to talk about the first Europeans. It was the Vikings. Don't listen to him. He's just talking because God blessed him with lips.
Okay.
They used to kill Italians in America back in the day, man.
Who is a United States citizen? That's the question. It's whoever the government says.
Exactly.
Whoever and the
government of the land.
It's not changing.
This is where the Ramones are buried. Two of the Ramones are buried there. Johnny and Dee Dee. Judy Garland is buried about 50 feet away from my grandfather. A lot of famous people at this cemetery.
Oh, 1989. That's been so long ago.
Yeah.
Wonder what his birth name was.
Let's find out.
Yep. Got it. Great. Elvin Jerome Blank. His wife is Estelle Rosenbaum.
He claimed that he changed it from B-L-A-N-K to B-L-A-N-C because the T. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, that's his birth name is B-L. Yeah, B-L-A-N-K.
He told him to amount to nothing and like his name be a blank. So he changed it to B-L-A-N-C.
Yeah, when he was born in 1908, it was with a K at the end.
Mm.
I just saw, it's funny, I just saw Idina Menzel on Saturday night at concert here, and she changed the spelling. She took the T out of her name because she thought people couldn't pronounce it.
What was her name?
So her name used to be M-E-N-T Menzel.
Yeah.
And then she took out the T, so now it's just M-E-N-Z-E-L.
Menzel. Wow. I didn't know Mel Blanc was a Freemason.
Adele.
He was also a Shriner. Wow. Means he was a 32nd level Mason. It's not simple.
I just saw a little clip of I can never pronounce his whole name, but anyway, Yosef Mossad or whatever, the son of Hamas guy. He was asked about what he thought about the assassination of Hania,
Yeah.
and it was a pretty interesting little answer. I put it in the comments in the chat.
Mossab Hassan Yosef. Joseph Mossad's a professor at Columbia.
Got it, Matt. I'm definitely not going to remember how to say his name next time because I can't remember it anyway. But the son of Hamas, the Green Prince, he said, it's, they always thought, in Hamas that, someday Mossad would come and try and shoot them or inject them or whatever. But now things have changed. They can be someone with, when given permission from the other side of the world, can push a button and they can die in their bed. And he made a little joke about him and his bodyguard being in bed together. He didn't know what they were doing in bed together, but they were in bed together.
Just like Arafat.
Yeah, just like Arafat. And I thought that was quite interesting. And then he said it's going to have to make the Ayatollahs think about things, because this was in a secure compound where the diplomats and the VIPs are all staying. This is in a very secure area, and just like that, boom, he says, so then the new president of Iran, they need to be thinking about this, because from the other side of the world, they can push a button and then boom, at 2 a.m. you're dead. And then he said, and if they think, this is one of the parts I thought was particularly interesting because I know that it's been denied, but if they think that the president's helicopter fell out of the sky by itself, maybe they should think again.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
That is so funny. He says, well, the guy, Rain Fog, who's the guy who was killed? I can't come up with his name. I hate the...
Hania.
Hania was in bed with his bodyguard. Maybe they're a little too close.
Yeah, right.
He's a pretty funny guy.
He's pretty funny.
He was very funny. They're killed. He was very funny.
So do we still think it was an accident, the president's helicopter crashing?
Yeah, the UH-1 probably was from anywhere from 65 to 75, 1965 to 1975.
I know.
They don't get really good spare parts. I think they probably had their best people flying it, and they're stupid. They could have bought a much more modern helicopter years ago, but they.
It still doesn't mean. I know it's still.
Is it a possibility? Sure, it's a possibility. But Occam's razor, the most simple answer is usually the likely one. The thing was too old. They probably had really bad pilots. It's just. But if you want to believe it, you always do.
Well, I don't really believe either way on it. I just figure I don't know. Dead is dead.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, I don't give a shit
it's
either
even
way.
Better. I think it's even better if they do think or have the suspicion or whatever that maybe Mossad planted a bomb on it or or somehow controlled the weather to make it have a crash, whatever.
You wouldn't, if you believe that, you wouldn't plan a helicopter. You'd take a train or a bus or whatever. You just wouldn't plan a helicopter. So the fact that they got onto the helicopter makes me believe they thought that the helicopter was safe. Otherwise, you wouldn't get on it. President of Iran.
But before that, think of the other, since that happened, we've had multiple high-level targeted killings.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the first really high-level one.
Yeah, but there was no anti-aircraft missile. It didn't come down because of a missile. It flew into a mountain at 1,500 feet or 3,000 feet or something like that.
It could have been sabotage.
Could have been. Yeah, who knows? Russians could have given they have MI6s. They have so many Russian helicopters. Why they weren't using those? Who knows? Get all the spare parts they want from Russia. It's their stupidity.
Totally. I hope they don't sleep well at night.
Literally, the Shah bought that helicopter.
Yeah.
It's a good helicopter, don't get me wrong. If you maintain it, it'll last 100 years, but they didn't maintain it well. Maybe the head of Turkey's next.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, I know. Just the stupidity of
but if his
saying he's going to
helicopter
invade
crashed,
Israel. Just like, that's just
but
something.
if his
you don't say.
helicopter crashed, it would be okay.
No, honestly, I do not think that NATO would ever invoke Article 5 to help Turkey. Ever.
Well, they would have to, or else the whole treaty means nothing to anybody.
I think they're going to make an exception with Turkey because Turkey's been saber rattling and like being an aggressor.
Yeah.
Nothing Turkey.
I mean, is there a way to kick someone out of NATO or no?
It's. I looked at the treaty because the president of was the president or the foreign minister of Israel said NATO should kick him out. Maybe it was the foreign minister. I think it was the foreign minister. And I was looking around.
Have they ever kicked anyone out?
No, there's all these procedures for admitting. It has to be a unanimous vote for admission, but I can't find anything, and I have to look again, that says how you get rid of countries.
There is no process for kicking someone out of NATO.
Thank you. Okay, then I read it right.
So how do you handle that when you have like a total Islamist? I don't know what's the matter with our government, I guess.
But NATO
are chummying up. We're chummying up with the Muslim Brotherhood in Qatar. We got Erdogan with Turkey, a NATO member who's a full-on Muslim Brotherhood Islamist, and he's threatening, an ally of the United States. And how do you handle that if he attacks? Which I don't think he actually will. I think he's more full of hot air than anything.
They have no ability to attack Israel.
Yeah, but that's an interesting question. Like, how do you get rid of them? Like, what if a country turns?
You would have to,
what if Russia takes over like a NATO country and like it happens, right? And then all of a sudden you've got like, leadership in a NATO country that is an enemy. How do you handle it?
Well, it's kind of happened with Turkey, right? I mean, since Erdogan's come to power, he's clearly, he's a frenemy. At best, he's a frenemy. He's definitely a NATO in name only.
It's so weird because, like, I was there last summer, and then the summers before, and there used to be so many flights from Tel Aviv going into Istanbul that the shopkeepers, like when you go into the Grand Bazaar, like a lot of them speak Hebrew. They had so much tourist industry coming out of Israel.
It's like southern India.
It's crazy.
I was at the store today. I'm shopping for clothes for a vacation. We're leaving shortly to go on vacation. And I tried on the shirt. I really liked it. It was like nice material. It looked great on me. And I see made in Turkey. And I said, no, I'm not buying that one. They're on my boycott list.
Okay, I put a document at the top. Of course, as Mike said, there's no suspension provision in the NATO treaty.
Of course, the other countries could do it if they wanted to, but NATO is a defense treaty. It's not an attack treaty. If Turkey wants to attack Israel, the other countries don't have to support the attack.
But
what
if Israel counterattacks? But if Israel counterattacks that, then does that count?
Well, it might in that case, but the other countries could simply say that it's not valid to use Article 5 when you've launched an attack initially. So it might not work that way if they are seen clearly by the other ones, and mostly by the United States. The United States sees Turkey as an aggressor. They could refuse to defend them in that case.
What happens if two NATO countries attack each other? What happens then?
Well, they're not supposed
that's something
to.
we haven't ever
same
thought
thing.
No, but like
it's just never happened.
Not like the French and the British have never fought before. So just tell me, what if two NATO countries go to war against each other? What does the treaty say?
Well, it would, it might obligate them to defend whichever one they don't consider the aggressor. They would have to
Article
figure
4
that
and
out.
Article 5 don't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, basically they would have to suspend one of them, introduce new rules to suspend one of them, and then defend the other. But it's just nobody has ever done that. It's just not really realistic, typically. But I don't think Turkey would go to war against Israel. That would be an extreme step.
Well, it's been getting pretty extreme, Mike. I mean, they've been talking some shit, you know.
Well, we've heard similar out of Egypt. They're much more close by. You know,
Well, they're not.
I think it's much ado about nothing.
They're not in NATO, so that's like a totally different animal. First off,
It's not so weird. Wait a minute. Can we just talk about like the whole breakup of Czechoslovakia and the countries that came out of that with Croatia and all the
that was
Slavic
Yugoslavia.
countries?
Yeah, that was
okay. Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, all these countries.
Yugoslavia is Croatia. It's
Croatia.
It's more than Croatia.
Okay, there was
It's Croatia,
Serbia.
Slovenia.
My point is that they fought with each other. I'm not, you know. So it's not so. It's not so random.
Yes, Yugoslavia is Croatia,
Serbia, Slovenia,
Serbia,
Bosnia, Herzegovina. Everyone but Serbia is part of NATO.
Czech Republic.
Yes, okay. I'm
Both of them
saying
are
that
part
they
of-
used to be
point
called.
being is that they've all fought each other.
They've all fought. Guys,
Can I
hold
be
it.
finished?
Can I finish? I'm a little older, and when I was a kid, those countries had different names. Then they all fought with each other, and these are countries that, yes, it is possible and not that illogical that NATO countries can split up and go to war against each other.
Well,
So
the Czech
that's my
Republic-
question. What happens?
The Czech Republic broke up peacefully into the Czech Republic and Slovakia. That was a peaceful break. I think there was even a referendum on it. Now, of course, Yugoslavia, the constituent countries, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Serbia fought brutal wars with each other. Once that was all over, you know, after 94, 95, then they all started to individually, with the exception of Serbia, apply for NATO membership, and they're all full NATO members now. They all, you know, and all the Warsaw Pact countries, and recently Finland and Sweden applied for membership, and the NATO rules say every single member of NATO has to approve it, not a simple majority, but a complete unanimous vote.
It's just
So,
an
yeah,
odd
they did fight with each
circumstance.
other, but not before,
That
not
was my
after
question.
they became NATO members.
So
not
they were
after.
not NATO members.
No, they were definitely not. I mean, I grew up, my awareness of NATO started around 1979. As a kid, I was a complete war geek. So I've been paying attention to this stuff since then.
But
I
they
can
would be
guarantee you that none of this occurred prior to admission.
They would basically be attacking a country they were sworn to defend. It's just be a very bizarre circumstance.
Not that bizarre,
Warsaw
considering
Pact.
you had reasons that these countries imploded.
Republic belonged
Okay.
to Germany at some point.
Well, a lot has
just like
changed since
Hungary.
then, basically. I mean,
You had religious reasons going on in some of them. It's not that absurd that it could happen.
No,
Czech
it could
Republic
I mean, Turkey's
not-
the odd
was
one
not part of
that has
Yugoslavia.
problems.
Pardon me? What, Frederick?
Yugoslavia is like Bosnia, Kosovo. It has nothing to do with Czech Republic.
I know that. I wasn't
She
saying
didn't
that
say
it
it
had
did.
to do with it, Frederick. I'm saying
When
that
did
these
you say
countries
that?
split up. I never said they were the same.
She never said it.
I'm just saying these are countries that had.
Yes,
had
I didn't hear it correctly.
Okay, these are countries that split up, and some of them had antagonism towards each other, which caused the split up. So it's not that out of the realm that it could happen.
But all of the Warsaw Pact countries, with the exception of Belarus and Russia, of course, are now NATO members. They're all NATO members.
Finland's joined NATO. They're not. No one's trying to leave NATO. More countries are joining NATO, guys.
Well, that's not the point. It's just a discussion point of what happens if they end up fighting in the future.
It won't happen.
It's sort of, well, okay, all right, and We don't know what's going
I
to
just read the whole treaty again,
The whole
and there's
infrastructure
no provision.
is tied with weapon systems, with planes. I mean, what are you going to do? Just take apart the whole infrastructure, comms and everything, satellites? I mean, is this for real?
So Frederick,
they're just gonna split all of a sudden. They're gonna stop like integrating training together and doing everything together. I mean, this is just gonna stop one day. It just makes sense.
You don't think that some of these countries might have internal issues that could split a particular country apart?
Turkey with their friendly with Russia and Iran.
Turkey had one of the biggest bases in Afghanistan. What's your point?
I wasn't talking about Turkey, actually.
Wait, what about Turkey?
I wasn't talking about Turkey.
Turkey's the second largest NATO member.
I wasn't talking about Turkey. I was talking about some of these countries why did you have some of the issues that broke up? If you want to talk about Bosnia and you want to talk about some of these countries that had issues between religions,
Can I address
Christians and Muslims, correct?
Can I address that, Abby?
Orthodox Christians and Muslims.
Right, and you think that just went away entirely? That's gone, those issues?
European countries like Czech Republic is mostly Christian. They're not Muslim. What's your point?
What's my point? So what happened in Bosnia? What happened in Bosnia?
Bosnia was a massacre. Sorry.
Fucking like Slobodan Milosevic.
Yeah, the Croats and the Serbians.
Muslims.
The Croats and the Serbians attacked the Muslims in the center of the country, and it was a power play. Srebrenica just had the 30th anniversary of the Srebrenica massacre, 1994. A friend of mine just came over to our house last week. He's from Bosnia. He's a mixed Croat and Muslim. He lives in right north of Sarajevo, and he tells me that the country is highly integrated now and that they've moved on, but people are still a little upset about it, but it's not going to break out into war again.
We say places have moved on. I went to visit Northern Ireland last summer, and they still lock up the Catholics at night. And
I understand. They don't do that in Bosnia.
No, I'm saying that these countries are not immune to internal strife and issues that could split a country and also have border issues.
The wounds are very raw. It could open up, of course. I'm not saying it isn't. What he said moved on, meaning people are hopeful that it will continue that way. That's all.
Yeah, but hopeful is an absolute non-guarantee. That being said, this conversation kind of started as what happens if Turkey, who's been saber-rattling like crazy, decides to attack Israel? That's where this
will never. It's just so far
It's a NATO member.
It can't.
They've been fighting quite.
What do you mean it can't? They have F-35s from the United States. They've got this. Yeah, that's what they got in exchange for allowing some of those North Atlantic countries into NATO.
Existed for? Since when?
All right, I don't know, Frederick. We haven't spoken, I don't think, before, but I don't know if you've realized, but Israel is in a fight for their own existence right now, being attacked on 7 fronts.
Turkey was removed from the F-35 program. Okay, Turkey doesn't have them, and they've been removed from the program.
What did they get? What did they get for?
They have F-16s. They have F-16s.
They've been removed.
What did they just get for agreeing to allow? What did they just get? What did they just get to agree to? Finland coming into NATO. What was it, Jeffrey?
Finland is a good ally. Doesn't matter.
I know, but Turkey was the roadblock on that. They were given.
They didn't. They got removed from the F-35 program. I think they got more blocked.
Allies since like 1940s without any issues.
Dude,
it's a long track record. They have the nukes. You know, they have like.
Frederick, when Ataturk was alive, it's a little different than now.
You missed the point anyway. You missed the point.
Erdogan just threatened to invade Israel. That's not a good ally.
No, that's not a good ally. And the point was that Erdogan and Turkey received. Dude, shut the fuck up. Erdogan received something in exchange.
You're an adult, right?
Dude,
Frederick, you
interrupt. Did Erdogan and Turkey receive something in exchange for agreeing because it requires a unanimous vote to allow people into NATO.
They
And when
got
Finland
more.
applied, Turkey was the roadblock.
You have no control over your mouth, you know? If you use your brain, that would be good. And write a little
Dude,
bit.
your mouth is the same as your fucking asshole, dude. Stop farting all over us.
Okay.
They got more
Yeah.
F-16s.
So the question is, what
You're a
happens?
grown man child. You can't control your mouth.
Whatever, dude. The question is,
Yirmiyahu? They got more
I mean,
F-16s.
if they went to war with Israel, they'd never get a single bolt from the United States again. They would never risk
I'm
something
pretty
like
sure
that.
most of NATO would side with Israel on this one.
Right. I mean, it's
if
just
Turkey
so
attacked
far
Israel.
fetched. I mean, what are they going to do? Cross all the way through
Second largest
Syria?
provider of Israeli
I
weapons.
don't buy it.
They could.
They
Also,
could station.
it would be a
in
funny
Syria.
dogfight, but I still think Israel would win because Israel does have the F-35s, among other things.
But Mike, you know who's partial about
F-35 is not a dogfighting aircraft.
Mike, on
But
the
he's a standoff fighter.
Mike, on the Syrian
It sits in
border.
stealth and shoots missiles
Whoa.
at you.
But whose planes are also on the Syrian border are the Russian planes, correct?
The Russian, and that the F-16 from Turkey shot an Su-34 out of the sky a few years ago.
Yeah.
And they only
the
came in
Russian
less than a
planes
mile
ain't
into Turkey's
that.
airspace.
I mean, Israel has the better planes.
By far.
Not only that, there's a U.S. aircraft carrier sitting offshore, and the president already said he's going to defend Israel.
There's two. One in the Persian Gulf and one in the Med.
Yeah, I mean, it's ludicrous that Turkey would attack.
They can't. They have nothing that they don't have tanker aircraft, so the distance is a problem. They don't have. They can't.
They could just send
paratroop.
troops. Listen, they could send
No.
troops and station them in Syria. They could station their troops wherever they want.
They would all
So they
die.
would
They can
march
collaborate.
from
They can
Syria?
collaborate and provide support. They can collaborate and provide support
Do you know
to
how long the march is
Hezbollah
from
and others.
Syria to Israel? It's not going to happen.
The biggest threat
There's
is
nothing they
If they
can.
were arming like
China and
Hezbollah
Iran,
militias
not
or
Turkey,
something,
guys.
it would be a big news.
Look, they were able to go into Nagorno-Karabakh and help
Russia,
help
Iran, China.
the
is the biggest
Azeris,
threat,
but
not Turkey. Geniuses.
Yeah, but that is
Hear me out.
Israel. That's some nowhere.
Confusing
Nobody
Iran
cares
with Turkey,
about.
I think. You probably don't know where that is on the map.
excuse
Don't
me.
know where what's on the map, Frederick. When's the
Turkey
last
also
time you were in
goes into
Istanbul, sweetheart?
Syria and
Turkey,
Kurdistan
guys.
all the time.
You know, Frederick, I think your
Iran.
sanctimoniety is not really jiving with this room.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
I go to Istanbul pretty often, so goodbye.
Thank you.
Who is that guy anyway? From what accent were we listening to?
I don't know. I couldn't. Here, let me see if I can go search him.
But a nice big war between Hezbollah, Israel, and Iran could be right around the corner, and that's not exactly
Here, come
gonna
over
be
here.
fun
Give me
either.
number.
So whether or not Turkey steps in, it's already going to be pretty ugly. The way I
Holy
see
shit! Do you see that guy's profile? Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off, but look, take a look at his profile. Who we were just talking.
Who? Did he leave?
The Frederick dude. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to screw up your thought, but that.
Yeah.
Sort of
Well, I mean, it seems like Iran has a response of some kind coming down. We'll have to see, if the domino effect has been triggered here. Very well could be. I think I don't see either side backing down, so, it can get out of control pretty quick. But I mean, they're all on record saying they don't want the war, so, it could be another round of kind of like highly limited strikes and then back to just whatever, low intensity warfare.
His profile is nuts, Eddie.
Seems to have just
I know.
popped
I just
and
got
changed bunch
a
of things.
opinion
This is not
poll.
right.
I'm taking. I take every opinion poll now.
What's in his profile?
Just take a look at it. You'll have some fun with it.
How do I see it?
Frederick, F-E,
Just click on
Frederick.
the chat on his profile.
His Hebrew is wrong. He transliterates incorrectly. I think he just copied and pasted it, though.
I know, I noticed that.
I don't think he understands anything in his profile.
But another dynamic is that this basically means probably no ceasefire in Gaza. So if there's no ceasefire in Gaza, and Hezbollah keeps a small stream of rockets going over into Israel and drones, then eventually Israel is going into Lebanon. Within the next 6 months, probably, they're going to have enough of that.
Yeah, they're losing all those.
That's why it's like it's going to be hard to avoid this war, I think. Seems like it's just kind of, inevitable at this point.
Between Israel and the U.S. in the past 24 hours, they've eliminated 5 leaders.
Yeah, but I mean, well, Hania was not a military leader. And
He was, though.
Hamas has already kind of.
I know he was the political
Hamas,
leader, but he was absolutely
pulled their
behind a lot
trigger
of the
months ago.
military positions.
But it's like, that's not the axis right now. I mean, it's really Hezbollah, because Hamas is kind of beaten into a pulp, and it's just a couple, few thousand guys running around behind civilians and hiding in tunnels.
And they killed the guy that effectively has been running.
It's more or less.
They just killed yesterday. It was not. It's not been Nasrallah. Nasrallah is the voice of Hezbollah, but this is the guy that did it. Deif, but this Hezbollah guy, which is basically the number one guy of Hezbollah.
But they do have lieutenants. Once you kill their top guys,
hold on,
it's not like they shut
The United States struck Baghdad yesterday. Yemen has been the head's is being cut off right now. They're going to be chickens with their heads cut off. They're not going to know what to do.
Well, it doesn't really work that way because
How you feeling, baby?
they have their arsenal is all split up between all these civilian houses and all these hidden spots, whatever. Their second, third, fourth in command, whatever, can still pull off the big operations. That's the thing.
And Israel's been jamming the GPS, which is why people in Israel suddenly find themselves in Cyprus and in Egypt when they're nowhere near those places.
Yeah, and I mean, well, they killed one guy in Tehran. There's still hundreds and hundreds of people that are running the operation from Iran. They'd have to we have a long way to go before they're bombing Tehran like they were bombing Yemen the other day. That basically, by the time it gets to that point, it's like all hell is broken loose anyway. So the real question is, can that be avoided? Is there some kind of off-ramp where things calm down in Gaza and then Hezbollah stops firing? It's back to some kind of stability, more stability? Or does it all just blow up?
Back to another pause for October 7th. Another one.
I mean, a war with Hezbollah would be pretty catastrophic. They have tens of thousands of fighters. I know we've been picking them off one by one, and we've probably hurt them a little morally and qualitatively, but quantitatively, the amount of firepower and people they have, it would be a pretty bad war. We'd win, but it would be at a cost.
They do have better weapons, but they also have more pissed off people within their population that won't stand for it.
It's also
that's a factor,
simply
but
unpredictable.
They'll fight. There's no way they wouldn't fight.
Well, they'll have a civil war too.
They're going to be extremely destructive to Lebanon, and then it's quickly going to spread.
Want to die, and they will fight back against Hezbollah.
Well, I mean, it's just the problem is the firepower differences. But I have a feeling that Hezbollah isn't actually as strong as everyone makes them out to be, that they'll be somewhat like Hamas plus. If Israel goes at them hard, they're going to get crushed. They simply have no air defense. And if Israel wants to roll right over them, they can. It's just there'll be, maybe a week or two of rocket attacks or something onto Israel. could be some more damage than people are used to, but then that'll be it.
Yeah, but politically it's bad. Then you have another refugee crisis. Potentially.
Yeah, but they can escape. They can escape up north in this case.
Yeah, but they'll. What do you mean up north? They'll leave Lebanon. People might leave Israel too. That's a reality, especially if they have Hezbollah has the firepower that they have. So it will be a pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, if people value their lives, they should run like hell when it goes down.
Also, with Hezbollah, U.S. directly said last week they would get involved. If Hezbollah gets involved, U.S. will get involved. I'm pretty sure they were involved in yesterday.
Well, it depends on how Israel does. If the U.S. is not going to do it,
wait. Let me finish.
Israel gets in trouble.
Mike, I'm in the middle of speaking. Because the guy that they killed was the guy directly responsible for the Beirut bombing of the Marine barracks in 1983. The U.S. had a $5 million reward on this guy, and the U.S. said last week they would actually get involved if Hezbollah gets involved, which is, I think, why they were saber rattling and basically struck directly in Baghdad yesterday to show that they are serious.
I think they clarified there was only if Israel was having problems with the war. If Israel's handling it on its own, I don't think they would immediately go into a joint operation. But I could be wrong, but that's my feel on this, that they'll let Israel take their own stab at it if need be, and they're going to stand on the sideline and just see what happens. But if things get hairy, then they're going to come in.
They got involved yesterday with direct firepower.
In Baghdad?
Yep. Where they
well, that's kind of the U.S. The U.S. has been over there doing stuff anyways, but I mean, right in Lebanon, that's kind of like Israel's backyard.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a different story politically if America fires rockets right into Lebanon. Whether it's Hezbollah or not, like it's a different thing.
I just read that all these airlines have been canceling flights to Israel. United Airlines, Delta, British Airways. It's pretty sad.
Most airlines have canceled flights into Beirut as well.
Helicopter trips to Tehran now.
I think they canceled. There are no night flights taking place in Beirut now. I think it's only during the day.
How are we going to get the hostages back now? Like, what do you think the strategy was in doing this with regards to the hostages? Is there a strategy?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think that the deal was going to happen. I mean, Hamas was stringing Israel along. They weren't going to release anybody. It's just a big trick.
Now, though, maybe?
No. Because Hamas doesn't gain anything by releasing them. There's nothing really for them. Like, Israel's not willing to have a permanent ceasefire.
There is so much Hamas has to gain, but we were talking about this 2 hours ago.
Well,
there is a scenario. Really. Yes, if they release in an October surprise, if they release the 5 Americans, the current Democratic administration can claim that their negotiated efforts secured their release, and if that gives them enough uptick, it's in Iran's best interest to not have Trump elected and to have Kamala Harris as president because she's weaker than he would be against them in their eyes. But if they do that, I think that would be a very, very strategic move by their handlers, and they do whatever Iran tells them to do.
So the strategy for them is wait until we're nearing the election?
Yeah, I wrote it down in my little calendar. I wrote down today, the 31st of July. We talked about it on Clubhouse, and originally I was talking about all the hostages, but then I think what Daniel said, maybe just the 5 Americans, because that's a lot easier. That way they keep the Israelis, separate them off, give them away, and make Kamala Harris look great.
That's the Fox. Hope that doesn't happen.
I mean,
I hope it doesn't happen either.
I'd be real surprised if it did. I don't think they're caring as much about the U.S. presidential election as you might think.
Iran cares very much about it. They are doing the director of national intelligence last week either wrote an article or wrote a letter to a senator, or I can't remember where it's published, but read a story about it. who says they are using their best efforts to use social media platforms to sway the election. So yeah, if it's in their best interest to create a less intense United States, they'll do it. And if it means giving up 5 American hostages and keeping the rest, they'll do it. They'll tell them what to do, and Hamas, if they knows better, will do exactly what Iran tells them to do. That's just my theory.
That Sinwar's going to listen to Iran. Maybe. You never know. There's no way to know. I'm skeptical.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. So we'll see the last week of October, early first week of November.
Do you think Sinwar does anything without the permission of Iran? This whole thing is Iran's fault.
Exactly. He wanted to do it. They wanted to do it at Passover, and Iran, according to the one intelligence report out of Israel, Iran said no. Do it on the memorial of the Yom Kippur War, which happened to be the date that they actually invaded.
It was the 50th anniversary plus 1 day.
Yeah, plus 1 day, yeah. But in the U.S., I guess I'm thinking of it was the last day of the holiday. The Gullus text, as I call it.
No, it was Shmini Atzeret.
Yeah,
in Israel.
It's bizarre because it didn't seem like the other forces were coordinated originally. Hezbollah wasn't coordinated. It's like if Iran knew, it was like ultra secret.
Well, they compartmentalized.
Didn't leak.
Compartmentalized. Even certain people didn't know. The Kania didn't know until right before it happened.
Yeah, but it's
he
like
was surprised.
The thing is that doesn't make sense because if you have proxies, you coordinate them because otherwise it's just like you get caught with your pants down. It doesn't work very well.
I agree with you. I can't come up with an answer for that. I agree with you completely.
I mean, this seems like rumors to me. I think that Sinwar and DF coordinated themselves. And it caught everybody else by surprise. But they're like, okay. Obviously, Iran knew about the general plan. They discussed the generalities of such a thing. Obviously,
if that's the case,
is to do stuff like that.
If that's the case, then one would think that they would tell their other two buddies to do the same thing.
Well, Hamas clearly hoped that Hezbollah would basically like open a second front, and they kind of did, but they've just kept a lid on it. I mean, they have this like balancing act where they try and go like right up to the red line, but not cross it.
Well, they crossed
it. The problem is
Hezbollah wanted to wait for Israel for their chance. Like I don't think they liked what happened.
They killed Drew's kids. If it was Jewish people, it would actually be different.
No,
Why
Israel
is that?
No, that is not true at all.
Well, I wish it wasn't true, but it is in reality.
Oh,
Like
it's
how?
not, Mike.
How is it
Mike,
different?
it is
Explain,
not.
Mike.
Well, maybe it's not. Who knows? It's counterfactual. We don't know what Israel might have done differently. Obviously, we're in a more intense state.
Explain your logic. No, Mike, explain your logic on that one.
Well, I mean,
it's Israeli land. You think Israel treats every minority group as though they were the majority group.
I just think you would get an even more like fever pitch of anger within Israel if it were Jewish people, and that you would have even more kind of like reaction. And
Did you see the demonstrations in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv?
But that was every week.
Because it's like
No,
Mike,
specifically with the Druze flag.
Listen to what he just said. Did you hear the reaction in Israel after it happened?
Yeah, no, I get that, but I mean,
no, there's no but on it. There's no but on it.
The world.
And of all communities to hit, the Druze community is very much in the heart of Israelis. It's a very warm spot for that community.
80% of them serve.
Yeah, that's a stupid assessment of it, to be quite honest.
Well, it's a counterfactual to pretend to wonder what might have happened if it was Jewish people. There's no way to know. But the bottom line is the counterstrike has been more pinpointed, more limited.
Well, you're trying to support your theory based off of a hypothetical situation.
Hold on. You guys actually you don't think it would hurt a little more if it was in Bat Yam or Hadera or Netanya and you saw 12 kids, Jewish kids, some with maybe payas and whatever, like dead on the ground? You don't think that would like cause a little bit more
That
of
doesn't mean that
an
Israel
issue
would
in
react
Israel?
differently.
Any attack on Israel is an attack on Israel. They will respond at the time and place of their
They come into our land
choosing.
and attack it.
I agree with that, but I also agree with Mike in a way that I think the fever pitch would have been higher.
Israel and the U.S. won Godfather, the final scene from Godfather, on like 5 different places in the past 24 hours because of it. Like this was big. Children were targeted, murdered, playing soccer. Doesn't matter if they were Druze or Jewish or Muslim or.
It's just a stupid. Like, what's your point here? I don't understand. It's such a dumb point to bring up because you act like Israel's just going to sit back and let any attack on it be like.
This attack on their sovereignty.
Well, this is a delicate balance of the major escalation hasn't happened yet, and it's like everyone's tiptoeing around this, and different sides are trying to find their way out of it by still showing that they're tough and whatever and willing to fight. So I mean, it's just like the question of what's going to tip the balance. Would it these people being Jewish have tipped it into just a ground invasion? We'll never know. But it's just
Apparently
something that happened
So then why would
to
you
make
bring it up as if
Yeah,
there's
apparently
some
you
kind of
know.
injustice
You
that
know.
happened or something?
Well, it's just ironic. It's ironic.
Ironic? People died. They were killed. No, they didn't die. They were killed.
Yeah, but I mean, it was Arabs being killed by other Arabs, and it's just like a big
so that's
fiasco.
okay. So Israel's okay if Arabs kill other Arabs?
No, of course not. I mean, they're going to have to deal with Hezbollah anyway.
Getting at, dude, like you have no evidence of any like theory that you have here. You're just, I don't know. What are you trying?
You can think about it
accomplish?
yourself, but I mean,
what?
It matters whether this dies down or
the point is
if
that
there's more like
Jews
hits.
are attacked in Israel all the fucking time.
I think what he's saying is that if 12 Jewish kids died, there'd probably be more of a chance of a ground war happening.
Well, 1,200 Jews died.
12.
1,200 died on October 7th.
I know, and we went into Gaza. He's saying, I think, if 12 Jewish kids died on a soccer field in the north of Israel, I think he's probably saying we would have done more than what they're doing now.
Look, these two generals prior to this have said that Israel needs to focus on Gaza before it takes care of a situation in the north. The outgoing chief of staff of the army said that and repeated a prior general's assessment. Israel is not ready to go to war on two fronts. We would like to believe that they are, but just by their actions, if they wanted to go into Lebanon, they would have. By the fact that they didn't means that it's a calculated strategic decision. They're okay. I mean, the basic principle of a country is to defend its own sovereignty. That's the minimum, is to protect its civilians.
So instead, we just decapitated Hezbollah and Hamas in 24 hours.
Exactly. So because Lebanon has not been invaded is because Israel chooses not to invade. They will invade. Rodi, go.
Surgical strikes by the United States and Israel in the past 24 hours. That's what they did. It's a great response.
Thank you for raising your hand, Rodi.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think that. I do think that right now there is no other front other than Hezbollah. What happens right now with Hamas is basically maintenance. Not even like there are like small operations, to find tunnels and to find particular people and to gain intelligence and basically control the places in which they already been. But there is no actual like war in the serious sense that was, in January or February right now in Gaza. So right now the only... Sorry,
I was talking to my dog.
Okay. So right now the only actual front that Israel has is actually Hezbollah. It's not anyone else, not the Houthis, not the Iran. Is literally just Hezbollah. And I do think Israel has enough power, but they don't want, enough power, enough people, enough ammunition, so on and so forth to enter Lebanon and basically to beat the shit of Hezbollah. The problem is that the Hezbollah has like a huge deterrence, which is their arsenal of artillery. And Israel is afraid of them using it.
Yeah, but the thing is, if that gun goes off, that Hezbollah, the greatest threat Hezbollah has is the gun pointed at us. If that goes off, then they lose all their leverage. It'll be a bad war.
Still, though, with what I said, like here's the thing with what I said with cutting the head off is that the leaders are now scared because they are we got Tehran yesterday, like in the middle of the installation of the president, we got the leader of Hamas within Tehran. I think everyone is afraid right now with their own leadership, and I think everyone else is confused. And with like the leadership in flux, a lot of leaders are dead. They have to figure out who's in charge, and it's going to take a while. So I think that they're running scared. They're going to be a little more reckless now too.
I'm not even entirely sure that they're scared, to be honest with you, but because like their ideology is like so rooted within their like brain, and they believe that Shahid is like the greatest compliment that God can give you. So
they got yesterday if we wanted to. Everyone's accessible now.
But do you think that the strategy? Do you think there's a strategy here to get the hostages home sooner, or no?
Wait, to target Hamas and Hezbollah?
For what they're doing right now with the targeted strikes, is there a strategy there?
Politicians might say that for political reasons, but I don't think so. No,
they're all dead.
I literally
they're all the leaders are marked for death.
Yeah, like what I think actually happens is that look, it is like a huge military advantage to kill one of the heads of the organizations that you want to defeat, and they had the option to do so, so they just took that opportunity and went with it. That's what I.
You want to be a Shaheed? Mazel tov. We'll help you meet Allah very soon. That's what
we're. We just help you. We don't, we're good people. We want to help you. So yeah, but I don't think it's to get the hostages back. I think there are like two different war aims. The first one is to rescue the hostages, and the second one is to defeat Hamas. And I think
never happen again, right?
Yeah, and I think the negotiations right now are basically just political performance. It's just like performative. It's not real. It's just for people to say.
Since Hanaya is apparently, the only one that really wanted to work towards a ceasefire in the negotiations, and now that he's dead, we just killed our chances for a ceasefire.
Oh, no. That was the Wall Street Journal, Lumi. That was the Wall Street Journal's headline. Their headline was. Let me read it to you. This is just wonderful. Strike in Iran kills Hamas's leading advocate for a Gaza ceasefire.
Oh my God!
Usually, Wall Street Journal usually has a pretty good even hand.
I know they've just destroyed their journalistic credibility.
Even Reuters.
I have to check on Reuters. I think
what Reuters said. Reuters, by the way, I saw like a study that said that Reuters is one of the most credible news outlets out there.
Leia, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you want to share Reuters?
Reuters is the least like.
Where's the screenshot? Where's that article?
It's like the British Al Jazeera.
Reuters always has misleading headlines.
Reuters, I thought that. Well, again, I was basing it based on like one particular study that I've read. Really?
Reuters is so far leftist. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
They're supposed to be even-handed, but not with no political bent.
Here's a.
I got the Reuters.
Oh my God! Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Here's their headline today: Tough talking Hanaya was seen as the most moderate face of Hamas. That's Reuters today.
Here's one paragraph.
To be honest with you, I prefer that over the leading person that advocates for ceasefire was assassinated by Israel or something.
So here we go.
But here's that's also ridiculous.
Here's the paragraph. Hanaya, normally based in Qatar, or Qatar, however you pronounce that, has been the face of Hamas's international diplomacy as the war set off by the Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7th. The irony of that is not lost on anybody. Has raged in Gaza. He had been taking part in internationally brokered indirect talks and searching and reaching a ceasefire in the Palestinian enclave for a war that he started.
And there you go.
By the way, when you were just saying the pronunciation for Qatar or Qatar, sounded like you said gutter, and
No,
I
that's
think
the way
that's
some
how
people pronounce it.
No, I know it's like Qatar, but now I think I'm going to pronounce it gutter because that's.
I like that. Can I just share something really
That's
funny?
my joke. I do that, my joke.
Can I give you a fallout from this? So following this assassination, there's all the forces that are the opposition activists in Tehran have been posting the location of Khomeini's residence and his office online, along with calls to Israel to eliminate them as well. So I think that was kind of funny. Be interesting how many come forward from Iran that want to now help to change the
Blow up my PTR. This is a sign in Karg City. People were putting out tweets, and it says on the left sign. It was in Parsi. I had to Google Lens translate this. It said, congratulations, I have lost Ismail Haniya, and that's the date in the Persian calendar. And then on the right was in Arabic. I congratulate the Iranians and Palestinian people for destroying the terrorist Ismail. That came up today.
Why would they say the Palestinian people though? Like,
whatever. It's just the fact that they're putting out free stuff, and celebrating. I think that's a good sign.
yeah, I mean,
Let's look at the positive.
who knows why they're celebrating though? Like, is it to be able to usher in somebody worse? Who knows?
I was fine with missing it. Pick the keys back.
What else has been going on?
Someone's echoing. What?
The same. What else is going on?
Rudy, can you mute up? I think it's you. All right, let me.
So I was reading something that said that they're claiming that Israel installed spyware on Hanaya's phone via a WhatsApp message.
If you don't turn keys today, you can choose a prorated.
Welcome, Fleming. That's interesting.
I say we lean into that so that they stop using WhatsApp.
Make it harder for them to communicate.
Make them paranoid to use it.
Okay, so here's a good headline. Kamala's national security advisor has been implicated in an Iranian spy ring expose.
Yeah, I had that earlier in the room.
Is
that
sure
unbelievable?
It's a spy ring, but
what it is he co-authored.
The Hadron Collider, right? The one in Switzerland.
Yes.
Switzerland. Yeah, got it. There's this.
They can't prove shit. Okay, guys, just FYI.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that's
painful. Just say it. They cannot repeat after me. Going from inorganic to organic matter, they can't prove shit. They've been trying to do it with the Big Bang. Big Bang, like diarrhea. They haven't proved anything.
But they do know things, is what I'm trying to say.
Know what? They know nothing.
Well, they do know.
What exactly?
Facts. I mean, they know this is Butch is the natural man knows that.
What do they know?
Which can be agreed of.
Can they prove carbon, hydrogen, oxygen going to organic from inorganic to organic matter? Is that what you're saying?
What
do they know?
No,
they know
I'm not
nothing.
Saying that, but what I'm saying is that there's things that we do know, and that you're saying we are all part of them. They
like what? What do we know?
Yes. So
we know that we're finite, right? We know that we're in a body, but we also know energy doesn't die. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. You see, energy just transfers. You can't. It doesn't die. So there is some things that we do know. We know the speed of light. We actually calculated that. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you're referring to they, you're just referring to yourself. Is what I'm trying to get you to see. We are all a part of what's called the human race. So until you agree upon what you have in front of you, we're just out of the loop. We gotta agree that we're human first. Because I'm not arguing with you, bro.
Ill, never. Fuck off. And you're gonna die for that bitch.
Yeah, but
you're a fucking bitch.
That's the thing, though.
You're a fucking pussy.
I would never.
Fuck out of here, man.
I would never.
That's
it. Look, yo, this is different. So if a girl is just like not my girl, and some situation happens, I'm not riding for her. I don't give a fuck.
Bro, so if you're walking down the street with your fat ass fine friend, and some guy is like pressing her and like, hey, look, hey, like you're walking side by side with her. And some guy just comes up and be like, hey, look, babe, you gotta...
Her husband divorced her or whatever and got custody of the kids because of all this shit. Now she lives like under a bridge in Vegas, like in a van. Like no bullshit. No bullshit. No bullshit, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I was like, how the fuck? Yeah, man.
Porn star.
Look, it's in the room chat, the New York Times joint.
Oh, let me see. Okay, good.
But the sad thing is that, like, a lot. I mean, would you say that the general look of your average porn actress is better looking now than they were like 20 years ago, right? I'm not talking about like the big productions. I'm talking about like your cheap stuff.
Like an OnlyFans chick or what?
Yeah, like your typical OnlyFans. What I'm saying is like,
you said the OnlyFans look better now than the basic chick back in the day. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So like the back in the day, people just wanted content. So like, you know, chicks that like had nothing to lose would do it. But now it's like acceptable, dude. So now the quality of chick is like sometimes these are legitimately girls who back in the day would have easily become famous models, gotten good work in non-porn stuff.
I don't know, man, because a lot of chicks they outsource that to like really rich like men that have like these weird kind of like fetishes. So like the really good looking women are going to those type of dudes because they can get a higher dollar. The other chicks or whatever are getting like $50 a month and then realizing they just sully themselves for nothing. Because honestly, Diego, I think this is a plan to demoralize people from our little theory that we came up with the other day. I promise you, man, it's probably a way to like demoralizing people and like kind of belittle your society. You get them caught up in this shit and you snatch the rug off from under them.
Elaborate on this demoralization theory. I'd like to just for the.
So what like they would get is other women recruiting other women, right? Promising them $1,000 a month, and then they would have that going on for like say 1 to 3 months. Then like it would like slowly dwindle off because they don't know how to actually run this business. These are the ones that like are just average girls. Yeah, OnlyFans. And then what you do is you're like ruining the women or whatever because it ruins their reputation. And then like getting them in that lottie mentality, and then obviously they're gonna go to the next thing, whether it be drugs or whatever, to kind of like get the pain away. Because like majority of women, they'll make that OnlyFans money, even the top earners, but it's only for like 1 to 2 years or something like that. Like somebody did a real deep down study on this, and I was like loose based study, and I was like, damn man, because it's got to be a short term shelf life because the shelf life for porn actresses was like real short. So OnlyFans has to be even hyper fixated, unless like they're really good at the messaging piece and all that, like hired it out, like had like Andrew Tate in the background doing all that shit.
Maybe I didn't go into the porn industry because I looked up how much the men make.
Like it's behind the camera stuff. I did tell you about that dude that approached me and was trying to get me to record shit. I told you that one, Diego, right?
I mean, like the way I used to tell my friend to like sit in the closet and record shit like that.
No. This dude had like willing girls and all this shit and had them sign release forms, but he didn't know anybody that did video. So like this dude that I talk to every now and again, right? White dude from Louisiana called Catfish. Go figure, right? So like I don't even know. I think the dude's real name is John, but I can't remember because it's like I heard it through somebody else's name, but we all called him Catfish or Fish. Most of the time we call him Fish because he's always fishing. And this motherfucker's like, he's like, hey man, my partner, man, want to talk to you. So I was like, what's it about? He's like, I don't know, like a video gig. He didn't really tell me too much, but I was like, I set it up, man. So we went to this barbershop. It was on the Kentucky side because I live on the state line or whatever. I live real close to the state line. So I went to this barbershop on the Kentucky side. And, I'm talking to this dude. And he takes me to the back of the barbershop. We start talking. And then he shows me like a stripper pole. And then he shows me like some pictures on his phone, some girls. And he's like, yeah, I want you to make this happen. I was like, what the fuck is this dude talking about, man? And he's like, he said something or whatever. And I said, all right, man, let me think about it. Like my answer I already know, but I'm trying to think about how to tastefully like say no. Cause I don't know this dude. And if I say the wrong thing, I don't know, like, cause that's the kind of vibes I got. I was like, if I say the wrong thing in here, you know what I'm saying, I might have a situation. So I'm like, hey, let me think about it. So I waited like about 3 or 4 days. Then I got back with him and I said, hey, I might have something for you. And then he's like, oh, okay, bet. So it was about maybe a week later. I bought this book online and it was like basically like, how to start a website, you know what I'm saying, like for pornography specifically, right? And I gave it to him as a gift. I was like, here you go. Here's what happened. I will lease this equipment for you to buy outright. I don't want that equipment anymore. You're going to pay a deposit. You know what I'm saying? You're going to lease it from me for such and such or whatever, but I cannot have any connection to this stuff. I was like, I don't want my name anywhere near it either. I was like, here's some legal issues that you might run into. You're going to have releases. You're going to have this. And then he's like, he thought about it. And then he's like, well, can't you do that? I'm like, nah. I'm trying to actually be a real director, man. And like the way it is now, like it's not the 70s. You don't get your chops in the porn industry and then mess around and move back over.
I don't see how you could hurt your reputation by filming some people getting it on, though.
No, but I mean, like where I am in this part of the country, this Hallmark country, man, they don't play that shit.
Good point.
I'm just saying. Like they wouldn't hire like a dude for a CMT shoot because he did porn in like the 70s.
Don't you remember
and he's behind the camera
episode where like Billy Walsh is now Wally Balls and he's like directing porno? No.
Yeah, you have to have a pseudonym just to get the job.
Yeah, but it was common though. But people found out somehow. You know what I'm saying? Because like you know what's funny, Diego? I was listening to Judge O'Brien and he was talking about this, right? He said one way they actually got the censors to like lessen the censorship around like women and all this stuff in regular movies is they use black women with blaxploitation movies. So that's how come you could start seeing titties in films. So they started with the black women, and because these like racists didn't care about black women, years later they pushed the envelope and they started with white women after that. Slippery slope, right?
Well, I mean, what's her name? Pam Grier had some pretty fantastic tits.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. I've watched a lot of blaxploitation films, man. Like, I probably shouldn't have watched.
You gotta forgive me. What the fuck is a blaxploitation film?
Shaft. It's a lot of those movies that were made in the 70s. They called them blaxploitation movies because they exploited the blacks. a lot of them, whatever, they really didn't make any money off of all that stuff.
A lot of times it was black directors, black writers, black actors, but like somewhere there'd be Jewish money behind it.
Yeah, financing. Yeah, Melvin Van Peebles made one of the first films with his pretty much on his own. As far as black directors,
how accurate would you say that Black Dynamite was to the look of those movies?
Oh man, beautiful.
Given that you've seen it, it's like super authentic, right?
Super perfect, man. Perfect. Damn near perfect. Tim would enjoy that. And you don't even have to see the movies to laugh at that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever see the cartoon?
What they were.
Did you ever see the cartoon, Diego? They made a cartoon.
Black Dynamite cartoon? No, but if I'm not mistaken, they're making a sequel, and he also did a Western where he basically plays Black Dynamite in the West.
How are we wasting time?
Oh my God, Randy!
I actually like Michael Jai White, man, and his bootleg films. His bootleg films, man.
He's really talented. He's a very, very smart guy.
Yeah, did you ever see that interview where he was talking shit about Steven Seagal and how Steven didn't want no parts of him? He whooped his ass.
No, wait, maybe I did.
Dude, he was talking about Steven Seagal using untrained guys to beat up on and shit and do these demonstrations on, and the shit was fucking funny, man. I think he even talked to Joe Rogan about it. I want to say he did, or maybe I'm just mixing interviews up because I know they kind of overlap on what they were talking about as far as Steven Seagal is concerned. Because he's not a serious martial artist. I mean, he does martial arts, but the shit that he does, the demonstrators and all this shit to make himself feel good, it's all ego stroking.
Dude, Michael J. White is up. Just gets all the girls. Because he's what is he, 53, 54?
Yeah, something like that, but he's married. He's been married for a long time now. Okay. His wife is really beautiful. His wife is really beautiful. But he auditioned for the Cosby Show, right? And he was talking about he was riding in a van and he saw this one chick. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get her. He's like, I'm gonna wait until after on the way home. That's when I'm gonna make my move. And then he said he got in the van and she wasn't there. He's looking around. He mentioned something to somebody. He's like, hey, where's old girl at? He said, well, Mr. Cosby had some extra scenes for her to read. And I'm like, He said, that dirty dog. He said, that dirty dog.
By Cosby. That's hilarious.
He said that mug had stars in her eyes, man. She was so pretty. and this is Michael Jai White now, talking about some pretty women.
I know.
She had to be probably Eddie Murphy's ex-wife.
Okay. Yep.
That is such a beautiful woman.
Because that guy, he's also isn't he a jiu-jitsu? Not a jiu-jitsu, but isn't he Taekwondo champion or something?
Yeah, Taekwondo, and he's disciplined in 2 other arts, I think, because he got started real early. It's kind of C.T. Fletcher, because all the black dudes that did karate and shit back in the day, they knew each other because it was a small traveling circuit. And they would be at tournaments and shit, fighting each other all the time. Man, dude said C.T. Fletcher, the weightlifting guy from YouTube that most people know him from, he used to do martial arts back in the day before he got real big. You know what I'm saying, as far as weightlifting. Mm-hmm. And he said he saw Billy Blanks and he got a different draw or whatever, right? And he said he lost his match, so he ended up not fighting Billy Blanks. He said Billy Blanks beat the shit out of the dude that he lost to. And I was like, God. He said, can you imagine that, man? You sitting on the sideline, man, thank God I lost. And man, that dude getting the brakes beat off of him.
Billy Blanks. I remember him from the infomercial.
Tabo is the way.
You're talking about Billy Mays?
No, Billy Blanks, the black dude, bald head.
Do you know Billy Mays though?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, man.
Rest in peace, Billy Mays.
You know that I'm really good friends with all the people that produced all the Billy Mays infomercials. Like really good friends. Like they're like my grandparents.
Hey, you know the fat white dude that used to be on the Home Shopping Network?
Fat
glasses? Yeah, he had glasses.
No.
That dude was one of my instructors. Not QVC, but the Home Shopping Network. There was only a few people like when they first started. And he was one of them. He was like white hair guy, glasses. You know, like he wasn't huge, but he's like kind of portly. And he was like one of our instructors, man. He did a bunch of voiceover work. And then like he did the Home Shopping Network forever until it closed. Then he taught at a few universities.
What is QVC the last man standing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised though. Like once the boomers go, man, that's it's over for that. We direct to consumer now.
Yeah. Changing times. I'm going right now to pick my dad up from the airport, and he couldn't figure out how to print his own boarding pass or how to get it on his phone.
Fuck me.
Dude, you know what's funny? I still print
people
Nobody wants to fuck you,
motherfucker. But you know, as long as you have your number, you can get it printed at the airport. You just go there early enough.
They charge him $25 for it.
That's
really
print it.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, because it's Frontier Airlines. It's.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
Vegas to LA.
Yeah, but that's why though. It's Frontier and what's that other discount one? Frontier, man. You might get a front row seat for a flight. You might get a flight and a show.
Oh right.
Man, like especially the motherfuckers like in the terminals in Miami. They done had so many like incidents, man. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Dude, they're the Waffle House of airlines.
It's a 30-minute flight, so anything can happen.
I've flown on both of those. It's not that it's an issue. It's just the people that can afford the ticket. That's the issue.
I got on a Spirit Airlines like in the last year, and because I did a layover. I forget what happened, but my flight got canceled from New York to LA, so I stopped in Vegas for one night. And when I got on the Spirit Airlines, it really was a shit show. There were kids in there. It was crazy. And I don't think I'm ever going to fly on that again. But, you never know because it's a 30-minute flight. So sometimes you just got to take it.
I missed my flight. And I can't remember what it was. It was maybe United or something like that. And I was like, fuck, man. Is there any way for me to get a flight within the next 3 hours or whatever? And the only thing available was Spirit. So I booked this. I was on the way to the airport because I know I was going to miss my flight, right? So I'm trying to book a flight driving to get to the airport. And I still got maybe another 20 minutes. And by the time you park and all that stuff and go through security, I end up only being I was about 30 minutes from the plane taking off. Or actually, no, it was about 15 minutes from the plane taking off. But I hadn't gone through security yet. So I'm like, man, this is it. So I go up to the terminal. And, the people that check you in or whatever at the deal, they got to go service the bags. That's how they save money, too. So, I caught the motherfucker before he went out to go, pack the bags. And I said, hey, man, is there any way for me to get, a refund? Something happened or whatever. I couldn't, make my flight and all this. He's like, well, call this number. He's like, actually, as a matter of fact, he gave me, he gave me some priority thing because I was so nice to him. And I guess he wasn't used to that. And it was some kind of priority deal. And as soon as I called the number, they just yeah. And they gave me a credit. So basically I got a free ticket. Well, I paid for it, but they basically gave me a refund. So I'm like, hell yeah. I'm not out in.
Look at how funny functions. I look at movies to see what messages are being given to the public and stuff. And just a personal opinion, the biggest concern I've had in the last 20 years is that we seem to be taking away the tools for society to make governments accountable. We talk about AI, we talk about this, that, and the other, but, you know, if you have a look at what's been happening recently. So,
1 second, Kent. Just because I know Alpha is on a time constraint, because he's going to have to pop out of here. Just
go, mate. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. Thank you for filling in the gap. Go ahead, Alpha.
Yeah, I'll make it real quick. I got a bunch of things going on right now. So the guest that I have tonight, Gordon, goes to the base, Patrick Henry. He's going to bring the heat. And his words is, I'm going to show your audience the receipts. And I know that he's covered a lot of stuff involving history. And no one's ever been to shoot down his work so far. So my answer to that question is I feel pretty confident that he's going to bring the information that he's going to say, that he says that he's bringing. But we will all learn that together. This is a live show. It's not a pre-recorded show. So if you guys have questions, go to the Rumble live chat, or actually you can do it from X as well. Those questions will populate on the side of the screen. Obviously, Rumble rants get highlighted, but even if you don't do Rumble rants, I do try to peek at the live chat from time to time to see if somebody has a question. So tonight's live, there's only about a 30-second delay or so. So if there's something that you guys hear him touch on, that you want clarification on, drop it in the chat, because I won't see the comments until after the show, just because of all the streams that I have going on. But then when we clear the show, I can go back and address some of the comments or questions that you guys have, or there's clarifications you want. So just know that tonight is live. So if you guys want to be interactive, completely up to you.
Alpha, Maze, isn't this like a Jewish slur to say that? What is Khazarian? I've never heard of this. What is Khazarian? Does anyone here actually know what the word in the title Khazarian even means, or what is it?
It's not a slur, and we will give that understanding when we do show. No, it's absolutely not a slur, because there were actually Khazarian people, and there was actually Khazarian land. So unless people,
I know it sounds like Atlantean to me. It sounds made up.
Well, we know Khazarians are not made up, because it's actually in the history books.
Which history books? I've never seen history books on the Khazarian Empire.
I'll tell you what, Roger. Tune into the Rumble show. Subscribe. It's free, and you'll get educated tonight. Or don't show up and just.
I won't, because you're a Jew hater just like Maze. Fucking former banker at Goldman Sachs. Give me a break. She's a Jew hater, anti-Semite. That's why you do these stupid titles, to gaslight Jews. You're a bunch of Jew hater, anti-Semites. Your show should be thrown in the garbage for anti-Semitism.
So that's
Bitch is recording it. Busted, bitch. Gotcha, bitch.
I didn't know he was that triggered. Damn, bro. Like,
that's what's called fear. That's called fear. That is called.
Ooh, he's triggered.
And all the stuff that we've been able to suppress and censor, now we can't. Here's the thing, you guys, and my guest is in the studio. So give me 1 second, so he knows that I'm coming. So my guest is in the studio, so he is here. The show's gonna happen. When you guys hear what you guys hear tonight,
gotcha.
I'm not telling you.
Gotcha.
Ghost is not going to tell you what to believe. He's going to provide well-documented, well-researched information.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's been kept from you. And when it has...
It's been kept from you? Oh, it's in the history books. Pathetic. At least I got him. All right, this has been Maze Love 14, the #1 Jew hater and anti-Semite on Twitter, spreading Khazarian Jewish hate theories. This is Books. I hope you enjoy. This has been a Clubhouse exclusive. They think I'm Roger Mayhem. Oh my god, this is awesome.
somewhere, like it signals that you're like you grew up there, you've got roots that are from like
but don't you
your
have roots in
childhood,
Baltimore?
going
But don't
on.
you have roots in Baltimore?
He has. I have.
But
Yeah,
don't you have roots in Baltimore?
No, I don't have roots in Baltimore. I have lineage that traces back to Baltimore. I don't have roots there.
So you don't have any like cultural things that
Yeah,
you've
that's what I was
expressed
going
or
to say. I
picked up
think is
from
the difference,
Baltimore?
the culture.
Not really. No,
Okay.
I mean,
So then that
I
makes
do.
sense
I
to why
do
you're not from
other parts of
Baltimore.
my family, but not the
But
Baltimore.
he picks up a bunch of cultural notes from
Yeah, but
Appalachia.
he's
So is he
not
from Appalachia
from
then?
there.
Well, I
The same way.
So this is that disingenuous bullshit you always do, but it's fine. I just
disingenuous about it. I
wanted to
said he has
I just wanted to cut
He's
through
just not
weird
Appalachian.
ass.
That's not. That's
I
not.
understand what you're saying, bro.
I
But
think
you're
you're
just
missing the
being a
point.
dumbass. It's annoying. I hate when you do this shit. But yeah, he is. It's on purpose, by the way. But it's fine.
Is Kamala from
like
Jamaica?
I will do the thing you never do, which is to like be objective. Like,
sure,
I get that if it is true, because I didn't fact check this, if it is true that whatever part of Ohio one would need to be quote unquote from Appalachia, direct yourself personally, insofar as he's not from there, he didn't live there, then he personally is not from there. That makes sense to me. But to be willfully dense about the more general or broader meaning of being from a place, as far as lineage, as far as the cultural salience of it that you pick up vicariously, oftentimes through your parents or grandparents, right? Like that would cut off a lot of senses in which people are from places. Like black people in America are from Africa, or like a lot of black people in America are from the South or from the Midwest. A lot of that is their origins and their roots, whether or not they themselves were born there, or whether they like were born there and moved when they were little and don't even remember it, or whatever, right? So that's like the more broad sense in which he clearly is from Appalachia, and I felt like that was easy to concede, but I guess it's not.
So I googled it real quick, and this is what it says online. So apparently, it says that half of Ohio is technically considered part of the Appalachia region, but the city where he grew up, Middleton, is like right outside of that territory in Ohio, and is highly influenced by Appalachian migration to that city. So that's what it says according to this link I'm reading. So
I think
I don't know.
I think the comparison Aaron is making is not actually a fair one, because you're talking about one that prides itself on having cultural like implications and like things, where another is literally just a location. And I think to make those things seem equal is not necessarily fair, which is why the comparison to black people makes sense, because there's a comparison to culture and history within culture versus an actual location. Like, we're not saying, hey, we are from this city, we're from Lagos. Like, that's not what anybody's saying. What you're saying is there's this cultural connection that represents the current culture that I represent, which is really what I think the comparison is making. It's not actually meant to be a locational comparison, it's actually a cultural one. And so if you're talking about location, I think that's very easy to agree or disagree with. But when you're talking about cultural connections, I think those are different. And I think there's tons of ways to define culture. And clearly there's an Appalachian or whatever it is, because my words aren't coming out right today, culture. So I think you're kind of arguing a point that isn't the true point that's being discussed.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have a connection to Appalachian culture. Of course he does. Like, it clearly has a connection to Appalachian culture. But in the same way that, say, a black family that was part of the Northern Migration and moved to the Bay Area, like the kids who lived their whole life.
But around the same time, she exposed that too. So it was a massive week of just exposing a lot of things. And yeah, Clubhouse was that platform where it got us used to really the censorship, used to making the multiple accounts. I probably lost like 6 accounts on there. Maze lost like probably 12. I remember literally like every other month I had to like add Maze Love number 1, number 2, and then number 3, and then it was crazy. So a big time shout out to Maze Love, man. That's why I always say tap in, follow. Shout out to Augustus too, Preservation of the Human Race, who were on there. You know, not many platforms on there that were providing us that space. So, you know, big time shout out to him as well.
Yeah, man. And, you know, I think one of the things right now is that, you know, whenever there is a huge operation that is in play to get you to self-censor, because, you know, in essence, we can practice discernment. And I think that, you know, whenever we're trying to explore information, and not only are you shut down, but then there's social pressure for you to shut down because there's just one thing you're not allowed to talk about. And I was just like, why? I mean, and by the way, at that time, I had no idea that it was even tied to anything Jewish at all. So I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I didn't know. I mean, that's why it was extremely suspicious to me. I'm like, well, then this might be something I need to look into. But at the end of the day, my love for humanity includes Jewish people, right? And I just feel like anybody that wishes to fight against the enemy realizes that we're going to have to unite to do that. It's not, whenever we are listening and deciphering through information, you can choose between good and evil. You can choose between slavery and freedom. You can choose between unity and separation. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to, I just feel like it's important for us to push forward, especially now that we have so much access to each other. But I do think that there is a huge agenda at play, and it's against the people. Zionism is a step in a much bigger ladder, y'all. This is geostrategic positioning. This is not, just like a whole war against, I think we zoom in too hard, but when you zoom out, you just have to recognize the different steps. Go ahead, Kent, and then guys, the podcast starts, so we're gonna head over there in a minute. And I do have it in the nest. Go ahead, Kent.
Okay, mate. Yeah, I'll keep it brief. Just something that we have get stuck with these days is the minute you put a label on something, you get all the baggage that comes with it. We can't even have a discussion anymore about anything. If you take the Israelis or the Netanyahu or those names out of it, if you just discuss what acts are being conducted in our planet at the moment by anyone and have a look at it and say, how can these people do this and how can any government condone this? That way we can actually have a sensible conversation. But the minute that we start saying anti-Semite or they're Jewish or you're a Jew hater or you're a this hater or a that hater, then we can't have a rational discussion because all the biases of the labels come in and stop us having that sensible discussion, mate. If we talk about the human acts that are happening against people, then it's a lot easier to see how abhorrent a lot of this stuff is,
Yeah, I agree. I will tell you something, like when it comes to, if we truly understand what labels do, they are intended to train humans to, like, whenever a label comes out, what to do with that information. It's intentional. I just want you to know, human life cycle development, psychology, social behavioral sciences, all of this you don't think are used in think tanks, like creating this whole conspiracy theorist, boom, partition, this information is false, that's a crazy person, right? It just shoots the information into the trash bin, and then at some point it gets dumped, but it doesn't stick, right? So if we're conscious of this, recognize this across the board with all the labels. I mean, I've been tagged and labeled so many things. Hell, they call me a terrorist. Am I a terrorist? Like, to just think
Bitch,
that,
you probably are.
and that is to get me to be discredited, for people to hate me, because terrorism is like the number one war that everything is on. But it's only because I encourage everyone to just now be conscious of it. And
be conscious
in
of
situations
what?
where you notice that there's a whole bunch of labels, those people that are adhering to that system, they haven't woken up yet. And if you're on the process to waking up, then you should be allowed to hear whatever it is, ask questions, and be able to decipher that information, because I trust that you have the faculty to do that, Go ahead, CC Potts, and then we're going to hit these hands real quick, and then we're going to shoot over there. Go ahead.
Hey, when you mentioned this Kazarian thing, I haven't done a whole lot of research on this, but I found an interesting article on it's called prepareforchange.net, and it's called Kazarian Mafia 2.0. I read through it, and it's pretty, it's kind of alarming, because there's a lot of things that I didn't know. Now, of course, it's an article written by somebody, but I suppose we're going to hear a little bit about some, related to this tonight.
Wow, gonna be very interesting, I'm sure.
Interesting.
Oh, you're gonna wake up tomorrow feeling great after hearing all about the Kazarian Mafia.
It's called Kazarian Mafia 2.0. Now, one thing, when Israel became a state, I believe it was like 1948, right? So, I get a lot of people that, in my realm, that defend Israel and things, and you never really know until you dig, and you have to find the truth. And that's where I think we're at in humanity right now, is we're trying to find that enlightenment. So I go and I look at the state of Israel in 1948 as a land, and I watch over the years, over the decades into the future, right? And I watch the expansion kind of Israel within their own state, and I watch the Palestinian land kind of
decrease. And so I'm really curious into this tonight. So
wow, this is gonna be fascinating.
Because it's pretty wild.
Man, and I love that.
Fucking
And that's
wild.
all I asked for. I asked for that's why I
asked
think,
for
it's
it.
so
She got
important
what
for
she
me
wanted.
to speak to Americans and have
Wow,
them
she's
understand
cutting edge.
what's going on with these lobby groups and how our entire country is being used as a military arm to kind of expand using Israel and its democracy, and we have to protect the democracy over there. They're trying to expand it and create trade routes. This is all about money. You know what I'm saying? So many people are dying. So many people. This is not about religion. This is not about. They're using people's belief in whatever, let's just say, clusters of belief to be able to manipulate people, and that's why it's so important for us to wake up to this shit. Go ahead, Mofit, and then we'll go from.
Yeah, I just wanted to add because it's a very interesting one, because like going back to like what happened on Clubhouse and what you were speaking on earlier, like how the self-censorship, I feel like is definitely like a kind of exercise kind of thing, because like now I feel like it's easy for us to say since it's happened so many times to us, but it definitely takes a lot of exercise. But going back to the Khazarian thing, I can't wait to hear this podcast, because I've always believed they weren't, the so-called Israelis were never Semites. It's not to label them all as bad guys, but just everything going on right now, 10 or 11 months of genocide, there's no excuse anymore for what's going on, in my opinion. Right now, the airports are shut down over there. They're just, at this point, they're making everyone in the region human shields. And these Khazarian people, there's definitely, I feel like this goes thousands of years back. A lot of people talk about, it's been going on 76 years ago, 100 years ago. I think it's been happening since time immemorial. And in our lifetime, I truly do believe it will change after a lot of trials and tribulations, but I believe in our lifetime this will change, and in order for it to change, we're going to have to educate ourselves on topics like this. I mean, the moment they banned us from Clubhouse, that was like the moment I knew something was up, because like at the time I didn't even know what it was, and then when Mace introduced it to me, I was just like, okay, let me look into it. And then 2 days later, a lot of people, like it was like Mace was gone, and then I think it was like 2 hosts from the Preservation of the Human Race. I forgot exactly who, but it was I think like another host. And then so that's when I was like, same thing Mace was like, which is why like it's a double-edged sword when they censorship and then when they ban, because the moment they did that was the moment I did even deeper research. And that's why I know this podcast is going to be very interesting, especially with what's going on in Russia and Ukraine as well. That slept on what happened with Trump. A lot of people think I'm crazy for thinking that Ukraine was possibly involved, but Ukraine is where ancient Khazaria was at. It really is. And then there's a lot of history behind Kiev, or Kev, or however you pronounce that. I know I'm saying it wrong, but there's a lot of history behind that too, regarding the Khazarians and like what's known now as like the Russians and all that. So I just can't wait. This is going to be interesting, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Can't wait.
Of course, Mofit. And guys, we're going to have a post-watch party space where we have an opportunity to discuss this after we get the information fresh off the, and we're already 10 minutes in over there. I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to give you guys a minute each, Wolf, and then Truth Patriot, and then we'll head on over. I'm excited. Go ahead, Wolf.
Maze.
Yeah.
Just kidding. And blocked. Okay, so I just want to chime in very quickly on something that a little bit of Kent, Maze, and Mofit, you all said. Back in, when you think about 2019-2020, the selective information dissemination and how they were only releasing information that benefited the powerful in those certain subjects while suppressing or distorting inconvenient truth. So with that, there are how many of us in here? 151. Tonight, when we go into what we're listening, and you don't have to listen to me, right? I'm a nobody. No one here knows me. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm only trying to offer constructive advice, which is, if there's something in there that you feel an emotion getting stirred up, you hear something that triggers you in a way, become aware of that and see what that is. And the reason why I'm saying this is because over the last 4 years, we've hit a large level of cognitive dissonance and even dissociations of the mind. And with that manipulation, then they've been able to implant certain beliefs that may not even be yours. So what I'm saying is pay attention
This
to
is
how
so funny.
your limbic system.
I can't believe people are this retarded and stupid, but
reacting to certain things you hear.
I don't know what else they're
and
gonna
try
do
to be
with their
self-aware
lives.
and be like, wait a minute, why is that upsetting me? And if you can't find a valuable reason, then it may not actually be your own belief, and that will also help you become more aware of these psyops and manipulations, which will eventually restart your now conditioned mindset. So that's just what I wanted to say, is try to be more mindful today.
Wolf, you know what's so synchronistic about that is that as you began talking, Alpha Warrior, he texted me. He was like, "This one might definitely triggering." I was like, "Wow!" And as you're like, if you find yourself triggered, like all in the same moment, which is crazy. And I do think that again, a lot of times we tend to have a reaction, like, what am I supposed to do when I hear this word? In that moment, just sit still and breathe and be like, it's information, we're deciphering. What, you know, and we're going to have an opportunity to talk through it thoroughly. We're in it together. At the end of the day, it's just, it's important for us to have more tolerance for stuff like this, just so that we
For
can
more Jew hate.
use this as to empower, right? And to be able to decipher. Go ahead, Truth Patriot. After you guys, we're going to shut this down and we're going to go to the watch party, and then I'm going to have that other link posted soon after. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks again for letting me speak. And I just wanted to reiterate something that I didn't mention before, is there are good and bad in all these different groups, but this is the group that is controlling the world. And, you know, there's a lot of information on veteranstoday.com. And X will censor any links to that.
Yeah, Veterans Today is like this
Interesting. Thank you.
anti-Semitic.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to shut this
scandal
bad boy
magnet.
down.
It's like all about
the link
Jew
is
hate.
up
It's
there
crazy.
in the nest. Click that. That's going to take you. There's the Rumble. There's also one here in X. So watch either one that you want, and we will reconvene as soon as the podcast is over. I look forward to hearing all your thoughts on it. All right. Talk soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, Jew hater. It's all true. Jesus Christ, they're stupid.
Happy birthday. Thank you. You just darks me with
Oh. It's your birthday?
What happened? Sorry.
That's a signal, Angel. Are you gonna bite on the fishing line? On the hook?
I'm sorry, what was that? Repeat that.
I'm saying Nav is hollering at you. I think it went over your head.
No, I said happy 25th birthday to her. That's all. You guys
No, you said I'm nearby, and that signals if you just tell me where to meet up, like I'll be there in 45 to an hour.
Well, how do you know I didn't meet? How do you know I didn't meet up with her last time I was in?
Oh.
No, I Prince Philip, who was the Queen's husband, in 1937 attended a funeral for his who? It's a sibling of his. He was 16 years old and he's surrounded by Nazi officers, and his sister had dinner with Hitler.
Wow.
Amazing. Prince Philip at Nazi funeral, the day his sister had lunch with Hitler. TV documentary reopens painful chapter of Duke's family past. Photograph showing Prince Philip's 16 and funeral procession in Germany. He was mourning the death of his older sister, Cecile, who died in an air crash. 3 of his sisters married German aristocrats who became leading Nazis. The family links are said to be revisited in this documentary, blah, blah, blah. And he's, front row in the procession behind the funeral, surrounded by Nazi officers.
Hey, question to Diego.
Yeah.
Did somebody invite you to that new group on Telegram?
With the letter C?
Oh, the one fucking Issa, doxed everyone in?
Yeah, like, no shit. I was like, she invited a bunch of us in this fucking group or whatever, and I was like...
He invited half the fucking clubhouse, and then removed
Carson,
half the clubhouse.
Carson, you're in that group too?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still in it? I got added then fucking removed after getting about 200 notifications.
No, I don't have my notifications. I don't have my notifications on, when it comes to that make awareness great again.
No, it's not. Well, maybe we should change the name of it.
That's the wrong group. I was talking about a different one.
No, the group that she was doing some shit earlier today in is called...
Oh, it's got 90 members.
It's called Talkaholics.
Oh, no.
It's private.
No.
Hey, Carson, did you see Trump's interview for the black journalists?
I saw a piece of it, but she was unpleasant, man. The pieces I saw, and I love how you pointed out to her that he's like, you kept me for 35 minutes, and you're talking about now, you don't have any time for us to go through this.
His exact words were, well, sir, former President Trump, and she goes, former President Trump. She looks right at him and says, I want to ask you a question. You continually talk about Kamala Harris being, whether she's black or she's Indian. You constantly talk about that. You've challenged black reporters. You've commented on black people in Congress. And you've made comments towards them. How can we try? And he stopped. He goes, first of all, you didn't even say, hi, how are you, or welcome, or anything. You made me wait 35. No. Then she said, sir, can you please answer the question? We don't have time. She goes, we don't have time. You made me wait 35 minutes because you couldn't get your damn equipment working. You make me wait 35 minutes, and then you're being extremely rude to me. That's horrible. And then you see the other lady, Harris Faulkner, asked her fair questions. Harris was tough in her questions. But then the other lady in between was terrified to get out of trouble. She's like, so yeah, no, I understand. So, well, you didn't actually answer my question, but okay, let me ask it differently. And she mentions it, and he asked it. He basically dominated it. Them. Now, I don't know if that's going to help them with the black vote or not.
No. Did you hear how the audience responded?
To the first section, yes, but when there was a Kamala question,
it was a mixed bag.
It was a mixed bag, exactly.
But
you know what?
This is not a quote unquote friendly room to him though, and a mixed bag is tremendously good.
Yeah,
and the fact that he didn't dance around the Kamala, he actually punched it in the mouth. He's like, when did Kamala become black? She's been the Indian American and all this. When did she become black?
Yeah.
And then the chick in the middle was like, well, she's always like identified as like black and Indian. Like, no, she hasn't. That's a fucking lie.
Oh, and the best was when she said, "Is she a DEI kid?" And he goes, "What's DEI?" And then she goes, "Diversity, exclusion, and blah blah." And he goes, "So what's the definition of it?" And he's like, "DEI, I just gave you the definition of it, right?" And he's like, "Well, no. So you didn't really define it, you know? I mean, I don't know. Is she? I don't know." He's like, I don't know if she is or isn't. But like, well, your campaign is saying this one. He's like, no.
Campaign's not saying it. She was saying GOP members and stuff like that because his campaign hasn't mentioned that.
Correct.
And hey,
specifically toward her.
It was great.
But you know, recently there was this headline that Trump said that if you elect Kamala Harris, there will be no Israel left. And I said, you know, say no more.
That's right.
Well, yeah. I mean, and see, you know, it's interesting, but I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, but you know, what's weird is, you know, and explain this to me, and Angel, you're going to find this fascinating, right? So look it up today. Okay, the White House gave a response to the recent Hezbollah attack. Okay, and the White House's response is the vice president is aware of what occurred and is being briefed on it and has issued a statement saying that this is a tragic event. What is wrong with that statement from the White House?
I think you're getting your assassinations incorrect. Ismail Haniyeh in Iran was killed, and that's what they said they were aware of, not Hezbollah in Beirut.
No, that's what the White House, I'm just telling you what the White House said.
But it wasn't about Hezbollah, it was about Ismail Haniyeh in Iran.
Well, they're saying it's Hezbollah, so that's what they said.
They labeled him Hezbollah.
Correct.
According to their version.
Correct. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just telling you what they're labeling. U.S. media has
Are they
labeled
talking
it
about
as.
Beirut?
Don't shoot the messenger.
So
No, not the Beirut deal. That's a separate piece.
So anyway, so they're talking about it today. Look it up. But what's wrong with that statement, other than what you pointed out? You know, about, you know, whether, you know, the person's Hezbollah and stuff like that. What is wrong with that statement? The simple thing that's wrong is, why is the White House issuing a statement on what the vice president's opinion is on it? Why aren't they saying what the fucking president is saying on it? So is Kamala really in fucking charge right now? But this fucker doesn't have the balls to resign and say, I'm just gonna give her the reins, or is he actually helping?
He's gonna
us?
do it. He's gonna resign in the next month or so.
No, he's not. His arrogance and his wife's arrogance is so high, they're gonna stick on to power. But maybe that's good for us. Maybe it's good that Kamala never becomes president, because even if she does in 2-3 months, she could be disastrous.
Wait a second, King. Fucking Haley, you saw the video of Haley, Nikki Haley, like predicting all of this?
No, she said Kamala Harris will become president before the end of the year.
Yeah, but she said it multiple times a year ago.
Yeah, but she never said that.
So did Vivek. So did many other people.
Yeah. So.
Actually, a bunch of people said after year 2 of the second term, you know, that she was going to step in so she could do 10 years. But Judge Joe Brown just had an interview recently. I watched 3/4 of it yesterday, man. He was going scorched earth on her. And like the dude is Black Cat, right? Art of Dialogue. He's like, what do you think about Kamala Harris? He's like, she's a piece of shit. Like, damn, right out the gate. Holy shit. Yeah, it's like 26 minutes long. I only did like 3/4 of it. Yeah, I gotta finish it, but God,